So, how is everybody? Good? Thank you ever so much for coming along, and a special thank you for about 10 people who were here at about 1:30. So they've actually been here for an hour and a half to wait, so I think they deserve a round of applause because they were here very early. So thank you very much also to all of you to come along. It's really good to see you all. If you don't know who I am, my name is Graham. It's spelt with an H, and you don't pronounce the H, by the way. So it's not Graham, but I don't get offended. I've been here long enough to know that sometimes words look strange, especially the English language, which is really messed up, by the way. We know that. So you can call me Graham if you want to. Hopefully today will be exactly what it is. It's not one way. I don't want to be the only person speaking today. We have no panelists. We don't have anyone giving you any keynote presentations. We do have one presentation from YouTube, and Erica's here. Thank you, Erica. All the way from Hong Kong, but she's Singaporean, so we're glad about that as well. So it's really a dialogue session. We really want to get you guys to give us your inputs on some ideas that we want to share with you, because, again, it's your society as opposed to just me and the Exco. How many people have signed up at sgmuso.org? Put your hand up if you've signed up. Excellent. And those that haven't signed up, can you put your hand up? Just a handful of people. By the way, it's okay. It's fine. Doesn't matter. It's not a problem. But there's the door. No, seriously, we welcome one and all, okay? As we build a society for the music industry in Singapore, we do need to help create more awareness, and hopefully today we'll do that. By the way, you can move forward if you want. There's a big gap of white seats there, so do feel free. We don't bite, and I know you're not going to move forward because you want to sit at the back. Few things. Just want to sort of talk a bit about housework. We've got a few of you in the room. Again, we've got one microphone in the middle here. We do have another microphone where we can move around. So if you do have a question at any time or a point, just please stand up and put your hand up, and we will stop, because obviously it's a dialogue session and we do want your inputs, okay? So it's very important that we get that opportunity. Please don't just sit there and listen to me, because it's not about me, all right? It's about you guys. So again, we've got some ideas that we want to share with you today, and we would love your inputs on whether you think these are good ideas or bad ideas, of course. That's the other thing. It's for both sake as well. Very grateful as well for our sound people and all the video crew. This is going up live. No, it's not going live on YouTube. Next time, maybe, Erica? Next time, but we won't have plastic seats next time, okay? We'll spend a bit more money. This is going to go on YouTube. James over here from Soft is recording this, and this will go on YouTube. So again, if you don't want to be on YouTube, there's the door. Okay? Secondly, this is actually being filmed for a film documentary that's being shot at the moment in Singapore about the music industry of Singapore. And Daniel, who's the man with the camera over there on the right, on my right-hand side, is actually the director, producer, writer, grip, everything. And it's just one-man band. But of course, he's getting the support of the music industry as well. So there is a music documentary that's being filmed at the moment. Again, if you don't feel comfortable, you should not be in the room, okay? There was a statement on our Facebook page stating that there will be filming going on here. Again, be very wary that this is being filmed, and if you've got comments to make, it may be publicly produced on YouTube or within the documentary itself, okay? So I just want to give those disclaimers to you so that you feel comfortable and you know exactly what's going on. So, without further ado, before I introduce Charlie Lim, yes, was that a round of applause? That wasn't quite. Yeah. Sorry, Charlie, I know you was eager to go. I don't know if you've been reading these statements. Some of you should recognize these statements because they come from you. When people signed up at sgmuso.org, we asked one question: what does music mean to you? And you know what? It's been very heartening to read some of these comments. In fact, I get cold shivers reading some of these, because clearly there's a lot of people in Singapore that believe music is the only thing they know. It's the only thing they know. It's the only thing they want to do. And they have struggling times, they have passion, they don't know where to go, they don't know how to start. And that's what's also quite fearful for many people. So when you read comments that it's self-discovery, it's above air and water, all these sort of comments clearly show that you guys really buy into what a music industry should be. It's just guidance and help as we move forward. So I'm grateful for the comments that people have made, and I hope you don't mind me publishing these. I obviously have not put their names on this. And over the next few weeks, I'm actually going to be publishing some of these online and and via Twitter to try and help people understand. Now, let's see if this... Okay. Sorry about that. Just very quickly, that's my email address. Very straightforward. If you need to get in contact with me, and I will share more email addresses a bit later, and please feel free to send any email at any time. I really do have a boring life and just eat, live, and breathe SG Muso at the moment. So please just send me an email anytime, and I will respond. For those of you who do email me, you know I respond, and I will respond. There is a hashtag. We have a Twitter account, SG Muso. By the way, SG stands for Singapore, MU, Music, SO, Society. And we have a hashtag today, so please feel free to make comments about what's going on today, what you'd like to see in the music industry here in Singapore, and whether you like my haircut. Fine, no problem. Anything like that is fine. So, do you know who this is? Do you know, he's pretty good looking, isn't he? And he's not gay, I can assure you. I can assure you. And I'm not either, but anyway. So it's not about that. By the way, if you're gay, it's fine. You know, we don't have this thing about, you know, you can't be gay. But I'm very pleased, obviously. I saw Charlie play at Music Matters, and my jaw dropped. Seriously, it dropped. It was just absolutely amazing when I saw him play. And Mike, thank you very much for allowing Charlie to be here. But so much more important, Charlie Lim, thank you very much for coming. Let's hear it for Charlie. Off. There's only room for one Charlie Lim on stage. So I'm going to leave it with Charlie, who's going to give you a couple of renditions of some songs by Led Zeppelin, I believe. No.
Hey. Can y'all hear me? All right.
Some people have got the theories that the heart is supposed to be a house for the soul. Well, I got my fair share of queries. When will my love find its way back home? Philosophy keeps me going round in circles, just like how I chase you, like I chase my tail. The world ain't gonna stop spinning, 'cause I ain't got you. How did you get to the top of the hill? So come on down, standing on the pedestal, babe. Don't you wanna get together? Come on down, swinging like a pendulum. Hey, I gotta let me know where this is going sooner or later. I found myself losing the art of believing, someplace, somewhere down along the line. She came and went and left me here so alone, but somehow I've never felt so alive. Here I am now, missing in my misery. The way John like a bomb and hit me so hard with your cold tender knee. I often wonder how you get to play with gravity, but don't you get it now? All I really wanna know is what you really need. don't you wanna get together? Come on down and swing it like a baby love hand. Gotta let them know where this is going sooner or later. Oh.
Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. That was a song off my EP. It's called Pedestal. I don't know if any of you know it at all. But anyway, this next tune is a new one. And it took me about 3 years to finish writing. Kind of. Not like I spent every day like trying to write, but you know, it was done over the span of 3 years. And it's called Bitter. Hope you like it.
Lately I've been sleeping alone on my own again. Just me in an empty room on a single bed. I've been trying all this time just to see all the reasons you had given just to leave. So why am I so bitter about you, babe? I don't understand. Was I trying to cash in the fantasy without the reality check? But I never wanted you to lie to yourself about happiness when all you were was just a little lonely, babe. Latching on to love like a moth to flame. But what we gonna do when the embers start to fade? I don't mean to mess with your master plan. The way you put out the fire, I just started again. I guess I have to keep my distance for your defense. Pull me out of focus, keep me in the queue. I'm a tired lover, wilting hours in the waiting room. Embrace the silence when there's nothing left. You got no room for demons when you're self-possessed. So why am I so bitter about you, babe? I don't understand. Every time you're out in the sunshine, but I just sleep through it. But I never wanted you to lie to yourself about happiness when all you were was just a little lonely. And all you wanted was the company. And won't you let me go when you still wanna know how much I care? If I still be and won't you set me free when you knew the sympathy covers you all in my time is unknown. Was I spoiled for love? If you had enough, played out the danger, you don't have to ask. But this modern moment will soon come to but you still never know how much I care. If I still be there, and hold you, set me free. When you know the sympathy, kindness you are, and my time is undone. Was I spoiled for love? Have you had enough? Wait out the danger. You don't have to ask. But this morning moment will soon come to pass.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Do we have? Yes, we do. You got time for a chat? Yeah? I do have a microphone for you, actually. I hope this one's working as well. Test, 1, 2. Are you going to use that one? Yeah?
Hey.
Is that hard work?
Well,
Getting off the stage.
probably a bit harder than performing. But yeah.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Let's hear it again for Charlie. Come on.
Oh, thank you.
Mike, by the way, Mike never pays me to say what I say. I mean what I say
I know.
about your performance last week. When sold out at the Esplanade last week, by the way, and quite frankly, indoor stadium next, yeah?
Yep.
Why
Next
not?
week, yeah.
Next week, yeah? Yeah. But why not? You know, that's what we're trying to do. What was it like performing at the Esplanade for you?
It was great. It's probably like one of our better gigs that we've ever done, and yeah, the crowd was amazing. It's nice to know that, like, you know, the people that bought tickets are like not because you begged them to come to the show, and they're not like your, you know, relatives and whatnot who wouldn't understand or appreciate that music. And
No.
yeah, it was really
Well,
encouraging.
And the band, I mean, how the band got together, I mean, I heard you mention it at the show.
Yeah, like 10 days before
Like literally
the
10
thing.
days.
I've been playing with them for a couple of like years, but like just rehearsing for this show, it was
Amazing, amazing.
yeah, like my band was like friggin', they make me sound good. So, you know.
I would agree, but I'd also say you also make yourself sound good as well. So, but then I'm a bit biased. So,
Cheers.
Charlie, you've been in Australia for the last 4 years?
Well, I did 3 years of high school in Australia, in Melbourne. I came back and did my NS, then went back to do uni for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
So I studied a Bachelor of Music, which I
Are your parents in Singapore, or are they in
well,
Melbourne?
it's complicated. They've moved. We have like a house there, but my brother's coming back for NS next year. So like, I think my family wants to like come back, and I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just very confusing.
Do we want Charlie to come back and live in Singapore? Of course we do, of course we do. Will you come back and live in Singapore?
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much, like, I'm done with my uni now, so I'm no longer like tied down to being in Melbourne.
What was your degree again? You did mention
Just
that.
Bachelor of Music. Yeah.
Right. Just a Bachelor of Music. That's all it is, just a
one of
bachelor.
the most useless degrees you could ever do in your life. But yeah.
Yeah. But coming back to Singapore, obviously you've been back a few times. You were back in...
I've been back every year, like sometimes twice a year. So
Yeah.
every time I'm back, I play a gig. You know, I've been playing at the outdoor theater at the Esplanade a lot. So like doing like the studio thing was like, yeah, finally, you know,
Yeah.
got to play an indoor.
How was Music Matters for you?
It was really cool. Yeah, I was actually in Melbourne, and then MDA were really, really nice to, you know, give us a bit of a grant to fly me down to
Excellent.
Singapore to play this conference. So it was really good to meet, you know, people like yourself, and the whole conference thing was really cool.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say that I've noticed such a difference since May to like now, and it's only 3 months when you think about it, in how you've evolved, even such a short space of time like 3 months. I mean, what do you think has sort of helped you in the last 3 months to elevate yourself to where, or do you think you're still the same old Charlie Lim as you were 3 months ago?
I think I'm still pretty...
Still the same guy.
Old, yeah.
It's got nothing to do with having a manager, is it?
What manager? I do everything myself. Like, no. I'm really, really lucky. Like, I actually have like 3 people like helping me out. I mean, obviously Mike and his fiancée, Eugenie. They're doing a lot of work, a lot of good work, not just for like me, but for like Singapore music in general. And they're really, really pushing this whole thing. I've got Sarah, who's been helping me out do all the ground, all the saikang. Yeah. Yeah. So really, I'm really, really lucky. Yeah.
I mean, this is probably the worst question to ask a musician, but where do you get your inspiration from? And I know that it's like, oh God, here we go, the inspiration question all over again. But bearing in mind that, you know, in Singapore, we're trying to elevate the quality of music here. You know, I mean, you must be inspired by Singapore as well, and the lifestyle you have here.
Well, I mean, I grew up playing music in Singapore. People like have this impression that I learned music when I went overseas was like a completely different culture, but it's not true.
Yeah.
Like I learned to play music when I was here. You know, I sang in the choir, which I hated, but like now I'm like, that wasn't too bad, you know?
Absolutely.
And I grew up playing in church. I'm more of a piano player than a guitar player, actually. So
Yeah, sorry we couldn't get the grand piano today.
next time.
Next time.
But yeah, like I think I really like got my chops. You know, just
Yeah.
I grew up in Singapore playing music, so yeah.
So Music Matters was it your first conference that you played at? A festival come conference?
Kind of like in Singapore, yeah.
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 And when we talk about inspiration, I mean, you know, what would you take back from your time in Melbourne? It was Melbourne, wasn't it? You're right, yeah. Were there, I mean, obviously playing with the musicians in Melbourne, the bars and the clubs and stuff like that.
Because I was studying music at university, like it was like a 3-year degree. I dragged it out to 4 years, which is really dumb. But like the first couple of years, I really like put effort into it. Actually went for the courses, and yeah, like it was a good community just to sort of. Can everyone hear me? Because I like mumble. So tell me if you can't hear me. All good.
We got a
Thank
thumbs
you.
up at the back
Okay,
there,
cool.
from the man sitting right in the back of the corner.
Yeah, it was just a really good community to sort of play music with. Like my band in Melbourne, I had like a 10-piece band with like horns and 3 backing singers. It was ridiculous. Like, you know, it was terrible to organize, but yeah, but they were all like from uni. You know, most of the EP that you hear, like it's just, you know, I got them to play on it as well. So.
And what's it like being a foreigner in a foreign land when it comes to being an artist? Do you find that there is a brick wall, or do you find that you're accepted because you're an artist? Or, you know, again, what would you say your experience has been like being overseas? Has it been, you know, disheartening? Has it been fantastic? Have you been really inspired by it?
It's a pretty big question, but I think like just on the surface alone, right? I think like there are stereotypes, you know, out there, especially like with like Chinese, Asian guys, like, you know, we're not really meant to be singing for some reason.
Yeah.
But I think if you can sort of prove that wrong, you know, I think it actually works better for you, maybe.
Yeah.
So I think, to my knowledge, that's how it's been working so far.
It's not stopped you anyway, has it?
No, not
it's
at all.
not stopped you. You've
No.
just said, I'm doing this, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, it's a bit of a stereotype, isn't it? I mean, Hollywood doesn't believe that the heartthrob can be an Asian. You know, it's always, you know, Western guy, and it's not true, is it?
Maybe, I don't know.
You've got fans here, and you've got aunties, I believe, that are queuing up outside at the moment.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it.
No. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. By the way, that's what I found really exciting about your show. It wasn't just the show and the fact that, there was a full house, but there was actually an autograph session afterwards, which was really nice to see that there were a queue of people wanting Charlie's autograph.
And the band as well.
And the band,
that was
yeah.
a nice
Well, that's the other
gesture.
thing. You embraced the whole element of it, even down to the sound engineer,
Yeah. Well,
Leonard, who's not here, I don't
where
believe.
was he anyway?
Yeah. Charlie, what next?
Well, we're trying to go on tour. We even printed the T-shirt with all the cities labeled. Not even sure if we can go yet, but we're going to we're going to Korea to play a jazz festival. We're going to Japan. We're going to Hong Kong at the end of the month. We're going to Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia. We're going to play another festival. I think Sigur Rós is headlining that, so it's going to be pretty
Cool, man.
got some street cred there. And then I think we're going to play a few more shows in Singapore, but because we just played this big show last week, so we're going to take a breather first.
And how important do you find brand association? Because clearly, there is an element of interest from various brands with you, hence the top that you're wearing at the moment. But you're not just
I actually bought this.
You actually bought that.
Yeah.
There's nothing for free, is there? But it's not just about the clothing. It's about, are they helping you develop your career, would you say?
I think it's just really early stage right now, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool to, Fred Perry and Ben Sherman, they're doing music-related things.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we get more involved, not just locally, but on an international sort of platform as well.
Yeah. So no plans in the near future. Obviously, you've got other things you're worrying about the tour, but you'll be around in Singapore for a few more weeks.
Yeah, I'm going to be
before you go?
based here till the end of the year at least,
there you go.
so.
Charlie, will you stay with us while we
Yeah, for sure.
go through things? Let's hear it again for Charlie.
Thanks, guys.
Try him. Thank you, man. It's always good to actually have one of the local artists perform with us, so I'm very grateful that we could do that. So if you could just bear with me, I'm going to just quickly go through a set of slides. I know it sounds really boring, but I just want to just highlight some of the things that SG Muso has been up to over the last 9 months, and then also talk a bit about what we hope to achieve in the next 9 months with your support as well. Because obviously one of the things about a society is that it's really your society, it's not my society, although again I am very passionate about trying to make a difference here in Singapore for the Singapore scene. You may have seen this statement. Let's hope that technology works. If you go to our page, you'll read this statement. It's really that mother statement, mission statement, basically what we're trying to achieve. But there's 3 main pillars that we're trying to focus on here. And those 3 main pillars are skills, advocacy, and opportunities for the local scene. Now, obviously, when we talk about the local scene, there are different areas. There's the artistry, people like Charlie and the artists that we have, the business side, management, digital services, and then production, thinking about the quality of production that we have here in Singapore and the facilities in elevating that to be world class. We don't see language as a barrier or a boundary. It's really about the greater good, and the greater good is great music. So that's really what we're hoping to achieve with your support. Now there's 3 pillars, as I mentioned before. Skills, it's pretty straightforward. Remember, artistry, business and production. What we're hoping to do is to elevate the quality of individuals in Singapore to be world class. And skills are very important, whether you're an artist, such as Erica here in the picture, or if you are even providing digital services. How do we elevate the quality of skills here? And a lot of that is through training, through workshops, through various activities, and even having sessions like this, because it actually builds that networking opportunity and belief. Advocacy, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time on this a bit later. Advocacy is possibly the one most important thing that if we don't have advocacy, we don't have a music scene. We really need to see stronger music advocacy at all levels, all stakeholders, whether we talk about the person illegally downloading music, buying music, right through to the government. We need advocacy right across the line. And I think it's an important area that we've got a lot of work to do, because when we talk about feedback about the local scene, there's obviously negative feedback, and of course, how can you not think positively when you hear a voice like Charlie? The scene is ready, it's just that we need to be a bit more professional and have opportunities as well. Which leads to the last slide. And opportunities. Now, we need to get it right at home first. What we do want to do is achieve a lot of activities here at home. But let's not forget that some of our artists And some of our businesses are ready to export. And export is really a great opportunity. Don't think that because Charlie goes overseas and does a tour, he's not being supported by Singaporeans or local government or anything. These are the things that we want to do, is to create a splash and a wave across the world that Singapore artists are world class and they can achieve that status. So opportunities overseas, very important, and you'll hear a little bit more about that a bit later. Now, as I say, we've been busy. I can assure you that even though we haven't, some of you, who was here at the forum in January? Can you put your hand up if you were here at the forum in January? So we had 150 people attend a forum in January, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. There is a working committee, and I will introduce the working committee a bit later. It's not just me, by the way. If it was just me, it'd be very sad. I'll be in my bedroom talking to myself. But there is a working committee, and we've had frequent meetings, and they've been very lively, I can assure you. Anyone in the music industry will know that. And that's been happening over the last 6 to 7 months. Music Matters in May, and I'll talk a little bit about the work we did at Music Matters and the success that we were able to achieve. I'm going to ask a colleague of mine, Shahid, to get up in a minute and talk about the Singtel Amped initiative that we launched in May. That isn't formally finished, actually, when we talk about a launch. There's still some work to be done there. There's been some industry workshops, and I'll actually cover a little bit of that with Aging Youth. I've been running those in June, July. And then we're here today with the Singapore Music Dialogue. Let me just go through a couple of things. Let's talk a little bit about the Music Forum. We had a panel in January at the Arts House, and the whole concept of the Music Forum was to listen to how other nations have developed their music scenes through associations, through management, and of course, through local artists, and of course, Danny was there as well with regards to the local scene as far as the performance part is concerned. Stuart is from the Canadian version of what we are. They've been doing this for about 38 years, though. So we're only in like month 3. So we're still a long way away. And Jasper, you may know, you may not know. You don't want to know him. He's a pompous Brit from Hong Kong. No, he's not. He's a lovely guy. He basically runs Music Matters. It wasn't just a panel discussion. Half of the session was panel discussion, and then we opened up to the floor, and the conversation was very vibrant. A lot of good feedback about what people want to see in the music scene. And of course, we've taken some of that and thought about how we might propose areas of low-hanging fruit, things that we need to look at as we start driving the society and drive it with your inputs. Again, very, very powerful to hear what people have to say, and I would be grateful if you guys could consider making inputs. There was many things that came out of the forum, but if it wasn't for anything, it was this one thing about coming together. And coming together, by the way, is about managing conflict, because not everyone agrees with the way to move forward. But we do all agree with one thing. We want the Singapore music scene to be a different place than what it is today. We want it to be much higher, much more elevated, and many more things have to be done to do that. So coming together, I think, was a very poignant message that came out of January from the people in the room. And that was really heartening to see that people do want to pull together and they want to work on this and roll their sleeves up. Music Matters, just very quickly go through what happened at Music Matters. If you're not sure what this is a music conference. It's the only music conference in Asia. It's been run for 7 years now. 2 years in Singapore, 5 years in Hong Kong. Came to Singapore 2 years ago, again here this year, I should say. And it's a multitude of conference, digital, gaming, and then there is actually a festival as well. We were supported by a division of NTUC called E2I, which is the Employment and Employability Institute. And they supported us for the forum as well. They were very, very supportive, and I have to tell you it was monetary related, because if we didn't have the monetary support during Music Matters, we wouldn't have been able to achieve the things you see on the list here. We actually launched at the Music Matters event. We had 130 free conference passes donated to us, and partly donated by Music Matters and partly funded by E2I. So 130 people were very lucky to go, and I know that some of the people in the room attended the conference and got value from being there. We had 5 mentor sessions. We had Bob Ezrin, we had John Meglin, we had Todd McOver, we had a management panel, and I can't remember the 5th one. God, there were so many. And I should remember, Eric Lawrence, manager of Simple Plan, and the drummer of Simple Plan. And if it wasn't for the support from E2I, we wouldn't have been able to have those sessions. We brought those guys to Singapore, which was very important. We had a networking session, so there was drinks, as you can imagine, but there was business. And then we had 12 Singapore acts live. We had 11 Singapore acts perform at Music Matters Festival. And very last minute, Vanessa Fernandez was brought in to perform at the conference itself. So we actually had 12 Singapore acts. Just to give you an idea, last year we had 4. So we owned Music Matters Festival this year. We were everywhere. There were bands from all over Singapore playing in different locations on Clarke Quay at the festival. So it was very important. Just some quick snapshots. This is actually from the networking session. Very, very well received. Of course, there was alcohol. I can assure you that that does help. Food, drink, anything like that will draw people. But it wasn't that made people come together. It really was a networking session. It was very heartening to see business discussions happening. People were showing their products, their services, talking about what they were doing. And it happened at that particular session as well, which is really good. So again, it's very important to see that it wasn't just a jolly. There were take-backs and inspiration, and of course aspiration to want to do more. The mentor sessions, wow. I mean, I sat next to this guy called Bob Ezrin. And if you don't know who Bob Ezrin is, he's the producer of Pink Floyd, Alice Cooper, 9 Inch Nails. And I mean, there were pictures of me just staring at him because I was just like, oh my God, I'm like with this guru here. And I remember, the first Alice Cooper album he produced. But do you know what? It wasn't about me. It was about the people in the audience. The fact that they had 1 hour with Bob Ezrin. And in fact, that 1 hour wasn't enough. And Bob's session ran over. We were told to get out of the room. So Bob said, let's go around the pool. And about 50 people, maybe about 30 people, followed Bob. And he got one of the guys to perform in front of him and critiqued as well. So the session carried on. These people are really important to learn from. It creates the inspiration and of course, the opportunities to develop as we move forward. The 11 acts that performed at Music Matters Live at the festival, I hope you recognize most of them. Some of them are in the room. And I'm actually very pleased that Shimona's here because it's the first time we met. So this was also very powerful. Yes, it would be nice to have not so much more, but then there's other things we could do next year. I'm not sure if you knew there was actually a Korean showcase, which really did sort of take control of 2 hours of the night on the Thursday night. So as you can imagine, the Koreans brought lots of fans. Well, they didn't bring any fans. It was basically a bunch of school kids, and it was packed. So there were different ways of actually creating more impact. And again, it was really good to see most of these bands that were playing at Music Matters. The response afterwards was amazing. The press response, and I'm sorry I don't have all the press clippings here, but I can assure you there was a lot of press response towards Music Matters and towards the event itself. We joke about the picture of Danny Leung in the newspaper. They never trust the press to put a picture in the newspaper. Yeah, no. But seriously, Danny jumping up and down, that's fine, we don't mind. But anyway, this is the audience at the K-pop night in Clarke Quay. As you can see, it was packed. Now, it wasn't packed, just for that. People were around for the other acts as well. The mentor sessions, we had John Meglen, very important guy from AEG Live. We had Bob Ezrin, and again, you see the management panel. There's Bob's session at the top there, carrying on, and in the middle, we had 6 on the main stage, which is also very important. I'd like to ask Shade to join me, if you wouldn't mind. Let's hear it for Shade. Woohoo! Is it working?
Hello? Are we good?
We haven't got a microphone.
Test.
Use that one.
Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go.
Okay. So just a bit of background about Singtel Am. Singtel Am, I'm not working for Singtel, obviously. All I do is just kind of plug your music into the Singtel Am platform. It's a music streaming service, a subscription-based music streaming service. What we do is we would actually like to have local music on digital services everywhere as much as we possibly can. Singtel actually is being very proactive. It courted a number of the labels, independent labels, and they're very, very keen on having as much Singapore music on that platform as well. I mean, it is a Singapore service. It should have Singapore music. So if you would like to get on this, you can just kind of approach me to the site, even if you're a label or independent artist, as long as you have some music, we'd like to put you on. And then what will happen after that is that we'll try to work with you or your marketing team and work with Singtel and their marketing team. If you have certain things coming down the line, we'll try and put 2 and 2 together, and hopefully there's something there that you can work with them so that there's at least that push for your music as well. So really, that's a really about all I have to say about this. If you have any other questions.
Actually, I've got a question, Shade.
Yes.
You said they were proactive.
Yes.
What do you think catalyzed the reason why they wanted this?
Honestly, in a very honest meeting with Chiming, the director of music at Singtel, he basically said that, well, you know, it is a Singapore brand. It is Singapore music that we need to have on, that we need to share and make sure that that gets heard. And I think that's really a major goal of us as well. And that's why a few of us stepped up and said, you know, let's make this happen. Obviously, from an operation point of view, they can't meet every single one and sign up every single body. So they've hired us, my company, Bedside, to kind of aggregate this and just kind of ship it across. So we're only an aggregator. You're still in charge of marketing and promoting and working with Singtel directly, which we can facilitate.
Yep. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, that sort of happened around about Music Matters, but again, it continues to go on as we move forward. Just very quickly, industry workshops. There were a couple of workshops that ran in June and July. Aging Youth ran these workshops. And the power of these type of workshops, they're much smaller scale, much smaller environment, and locally driven. So we actually have people from Singapore being the panelists, and helping people from around Singapore obviously learn about things like how to get started in the music business, and again, how to market yourself as an artist. We had about 40, 50 people at each session. It's not really about the numbers, it's about the activities that are happening, and we obviously want to continue with those, and I'll share more about that a bit later. Now, just very quickly, it is your society. Again, this is a non-profit organization. We have no funding, so we actually don't even ask you guys to be members and have a membership fee yet, okay? We obviously have to move to a point, yeah, there's a few people laughing at that, but we need to build some credibility and start developing some more projects and initiatives. Sure, we've done a lot in the last 9 months and there's great opportunities moving forward, but we've still got a lot more work over the next 9 years, if not 19 years, because a music scene takes time to grow. So again, I don't wish to stand here telling you the way this should be done, because it's not about me, it's about you guys. So if you're comfortable to speak up, we'd be very grateful to hear from you. If you are not comfortable, there is this thing called email, and there is this thing called Twitter. So if you want to make comments through those different avenues, we'd be very grateful to hear what you have to say. There may be things you don't like about what we're suggesting, and we want to hear that, because we don't want to do something that the industry doesn't want to support. It's important that we listen to you guys and get your support. Now, as I say, it's a free society at the moment. We will get to a point where we will have to charge, because obviously there is running costs. This thing here happening today cost money. So who pays for that? Again, these are the things that we need to consider. And I will come back to you a bit later about how we try and move forward. Just to let you know, this number is how many people have signed up. And it's not just, 388 people from, the coffee shop down the road, by the way, or I've signed them up. These are people like yourselves coming from all different areas of the music industry, whether you are an artist, an educator, you're in management, you're in production, promoter, services, students. And students, again, very important. We have about 100 students in the 388, which actually is very heartening. And you know what? The students are really lost. They don't know where to go, they don't know how to start. So these are very important people as well. And then last but certainly not least, venues. We have people from various venues around Singapore that have signed up. It's an individual membership. It's free. You just go online, you put your name up there, we ask you what music means to you, and that's what it is at the moment. But it will formalize more into a fee-based membership, where we will ask you to pay a membership fee, and of course then there will be voting rights and all those sort of things as well, because obviously as a society and as non-profit, it has to be completely 101% transparent, okay? So in future, if you think these events are not worth it, and you don't want to spend $5,000 to run an event like this, we won't spend the money to run this event. We'll spend it on something else. Bearing in mind that there are other things that money can go on, and I'll talk a little bit about schemes and grants a bit later. Just in case you don't know where we are, very straightforward, sgmuso.org. So if you haven't signed up, you know where to go, okay? I'd like to introduce you, every single one of these people. They are pretty much all here. There's a couple that are not, they couldn't make it today. But most of the executive management committee are here. Now, this wasn't just a bunch of people that were selected. I originally sort of came to these people with the concept, and you know what? They were all very supportive and all wanted to do this as well. There was no cajoling, there was no arm twisting. Everybody has the same passion. They all want to see this music industry grow here in Singapore. And it's not about them. By the way, I've never seen one of these people be selfish in any way whatsoever. My agenda is more important than the Singapore society's agenda. It's very heartening to see that everyone is coming together to want to be able to make a difference. And they're in the room, so if you do know them, if you don't know them, please find them. At the end, you'll have a chance to have a chat. You've met Shahid, and the others are all around. A society has to have a formal EXCO membership. By the way, this could be 50 people. We've had so many people say, I want to be on the EXCO. I really want to do more. I want to do this, which is great to see, but we have to keep it to a certain level. And we've toyed on whether we should think about having different groups that could work on certain areas. And that may be something that we might do as we move forward. Any feedback you have on this, we'll be very grateful. If you want to do more, please, please, please send us an email and tell us you want to get more involved and more engaged. By the way, a lot of you want to be more involved and more engaged, but we have to keep things to a certain number. So again, we're very grateful for all these guys that have stepped up and want to be involved. I'm the only independent on the group, by the way. Well, Naraini is independent as well. She's not from the music industry. I currently do not hold any role or position or company that's relating to the music industry directly. I'm completely independent. I do play the guitar. And you don't want to hear my story, seriously. There used to be hair. Yeah, right, 1979. Any of you remember 1979? Yeah, right, okay. But there used to be hair, and I used to be in a pop band. Anyway, so let's move on. What next? Just very quickly, I want to just go through a couple of suggestions, and I would like, could we bring the lights up actually for this? Because I would like to actually just open up to the floor if anyone's got any comments about what I'm going to show you in these next few slides. When we've had our committee meetings and when we've got feedback from many of the people in the room, we've had this feedback about advocacy. Now, advocacy is many things. And one of the age-old comments is, why do we not have more Singapore acts on the radio? Anyone here heard that comment before? I'm sure you've all heard it. We don't have enough local music on the radio today. So it's really about advocacy. It's about people from different levels, different stakeholders, showing an interest towards local music. And that's what we want to try and achieve as a major initiative moving forward. It's not going to happen overnight, guys. Can I just tell you that we're not going to get 20% airplay on the radio tomorrow? Sorry to tell you that, because it's going to take time. But we've got some plans and some ideas that we want to share with you. And of course, I would like to get your inputs as we move forward. But there are some very interesting things that we've had as far as feedback is concerned. So the very first thing that we want to talk about is increasing advocacy across Singapore. And when we mean increasing advocacy, there's a few things that we want to propose. This is a broad-based mother statement, if I may share with you. We actually want to run a long-term initiative to create deeper advocacy for great local music. Now, advocacy is people liking local music. By the way, I've heard so many people tell me that no one likes local music. I mean, let's think about that phrase. No one likes local music? That's not true. There are some people that do like local music. Do you like local music? Yeah, you do, don't you? By the way, for every one of you that likes local music, there's 10 others out there that like local music as well. By the way, they don't even know it's local. Half the time they think, hey, Charlie Lim. Charlie, where are you from? Singapore. But Charlie is a great performer. Music is the greater good. And that's what we do to create advocacy, is tell people that there's great music out there and we make it available. Now, what we hope to do is to drive this by providing more live platforms, better awareness, and I'll come to each point in a minute what I mean by these things, expanding the recorded repertoire. We need more music, by the way. It's no good saying we've got enough music to play on the radio today. We need more. We need a lot more. So any of you guys out there that want to record, we need more recorded repertoire. And we do need to build towards greater digital and radio access. And I talk digital as well because it's not just about radio. We've got to consider the digital element to this as well. So each one of those points just very quickly. Live platforms. Do you know where this is? Actually, I forgot to ask Willie which school this was. Willie, where are you? What school is that? Actually, St. Anthony's. St. Anthony's. That wasn't, that was a local band, wasn't it? That wasn't like some foreign band being flown in. It was a local band, a band called Six. And you know what? There is advocacy out there, okay? These guys had such a great time. This is just one of the school invasion events that's happened in the last few years that Aging Youth have been running this. So 15, 16 years of age, am I right? Around about that age. So creating live platforms is one thing that we actually want to hopefully achieve. And that's important as well as we move forward. I'm just going to go back to what we mean. So we actually believe that there's an opportunity to run a series of activities. By the way, if I may just also take one step back, this initiative actually isn't just brought to you by SG Muso. It's actually been a series of discussions since May. I will tell you that when I left Music Matters in May, I walked out of the conference and a lady I'd never met before came straight up to me and she said, "We need to talk." This lady came from a company called MediaCorp. Do you know who they are? Heard of them? Yeah, I'm sure you have. Now, the whole point is that they came to us and they said, "We need to do something about this. You know, we're hearing what people are saying, but we need to do something about it." So a group got together, and it wasn't just MediaCorp and SG Muso. We actually had Compass and RIAS, Recording Industry Association of Singapore, also talking about the same thing. We need to do something about this. So a lot of the people at the association level got together, and we obviously worked with government. We wanted to invite government to be privy to the discussions. And that was also very important, because if you bring people in at the early stage, you get a lot of input. And I'll ask your input in a minute about what you feel about this when you hear, as we say. So I wanted you to be aware that it wasn't just the 15 people from the Exco got together and said, "Hey, let's come up with some suggestions and some ideas." We've actually been engaging others to get their inputs and their support as well, because it cannot be done by just 15 guys in a room, and sorry, guys and girls, I don't want to be rude, and you guys as well, and the 388 people. So, school advocacy, being able to have more platforms to have local bands play in places like St Anthony's. I don't want to embarrass her, but there's a lady in the room here that played at one of the shows, and she's had marriage proposals and everything from the fans, if you can call them fans. But anyway, there is actually advocacy at this age towards local music. So let's look at how we can drive that. Better awareness. Now, we don't need to create the awareness here. Hopefully, advocacy at the school level will create the awareness with regards to fan base, create more fans. But we need to actually create better awareness with media platforms. You know, it's actually quite disheartening to know that they don't know a lot about what's going on locally. So we need to make sure that they do know, because it's important for us to make sure they know. So the idea is to start developing bi-monthly or quarterly listening parties for the media platforms. Now, we're not proposing that it's just going to be, you know, Charlie, Inch, Monster Cat, Shimona. We're actually going to say to you guys, why don't you send your stuff that you want to be brought to this listening party? And we've got to think about how you create that for these listening parties. I worked at MTV for a short period, and they have these events called Upfront. Every year, they would invite all the brands and all their sponsors to have an upfront session about what's happening for the rest of the year, the programs that are coming out, whatever. This is exactly the same. The point is that we want to be able to give these guys, not just to listen to the music, but information about the acts, what they're doing, maybe even have a special guest, but a party for these guys to understand that this is what's out there. And then they are knowledgeable of what music is available and what can be played on radio. So better awareness, again, not from just the fan base, but from the media platforms. Expanded recorded repertoire. We need more music. Guys, you're not writing music quick enough. I'm joking. You're very prolific. Singaporean music is very prolific. We need more recorded repertoire. That costs money, doesn't it? You know, it's expensive to go into a studio. It's expensive to hire session musicians if you're a singer-songwriter. A lot of things that you have to consider when you are developing. Hiring an engineer, hiring a producer, thinking about the packaging, thinking about how you sell this. There's a lot more elements that you need to consider. So we need to expand the recorded repertoire, because it's no good us going in our second listening session party with the same tracks we played 2 months earlier or 3 months earlier. We need new repertoire each time. So doing that obviously is another issue, and I will talk about some recently announced government schemes that help develop more recorded repertoire and funding as well in that area. I'll come to that in a minute. Number 4, greater access. We want more music on the radio, simple as that. We also want more music available on digital platforms. But that's the point, is to spend a period of time to do all these things, to then present this as the outcome. Greater access to the local radio stations, and then present. Now, you know what? We could go and lobby tomorrow, but it will be possibly a waste of time. I'd like to get your feedback on that. But we need to build the quality, the repertoire, and provide that for the radio platforms, as we say. Again, I'll ask you one more time in a second to any questions. What this actually hopefully does is create deeper advocacy, and for commercial local music, and for the great stuff as well. It's important that we actually try and provide that opportunity for the artists to get that to happen as they move forward. So any questions on, or any comments at this point? There is a microphone in the middle here. It might be interesting to see if any of you guys want to get up and talk about a little bit about advocacy. Let's think about any feedback you might have. And who's going to be the first person to stand up and wins a prize? No prizes, I'm afraid. A night out with Kevin Matthews, how about that? I've already won that prize. Yes, if you wouldn't mind going to the microphone, that would be very helpful. Thank you. And I hope it's working. No, it's not. Is it on? It's on. Guys, it's on, but... Test. Try this one. There you go. Sorry about that. Thanks.
My name is Ben.
Yep.
Yes, okay. My name is Ben. I run a totally new platform really to help local musicians. It's called Tell My Friends. I like the motive really to increase advocacy. And it is a very noble thing to do. But from my experience, I've been running my own record label for the past 9 months, as well as a platform. I think advocacy doesn't happen overnight. Actually, it's a process of marketing. So you have to begin with awareness, make people aware of our music or who you are, get people then to be interested, in that, followed by a conversion, okay, and then you get loyalty before you get advocacy. So I think that's the marketing funnel. It's been researched, it's been tested and proven. I've done it for my platform and designed my platform based on that. So really, we need to work together and see how best we can leverage on each other. Sometimes it's just, I've spoken to a lot of artists, and I realize that artists are a very special breed. You're so well honed in your craft that sometimes it's just about the passion that keeps you going. But 10,000 likes on Facebook doesn't really exchange for a plate of chicken rice. You still need to make your money and get people to convert and to just even pay 99 cents or even $1 for your song so that you can continue your craft. So really, advocacy, it's not so easy to achieve. I can say, tomorrow I want to go to a school, and perform a gig. You can, but somebody got to live in, at least got to pay for your taxi fare there, right? So really, we need to think a little deeper. How then do you work out a system where you can get advocacy, not by being forced and orchestrated, but really something that is deeper and comes from within.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you. Any other comments? And I'll come down with the microphone. Thank you, Ben. Yes.
Hi, can anyone see me?
Yeah. Can you say who you are? Just
fine.
stand where you are. I think everyone can see you. But you can come
Hi,
you get on the stage if you want.
It's all right. Okay. Wow. I'm Ted. I'm a producer-songwriter with Universal. I actually have a major label perspective to add to this. Yeah, because I work with quite a few local labels, the remaining ones that even consider signing local artists. And I think one of the things that always perennially comes up is, where do we find the talent that we want to sign? I think the root of the problem is that there are several reasons why there aren't many more signed Singapore musicians. I think one of them is that in the global scene, the music industry is going through a transition. And because of that, budgets at the global and also at the local level have all shrunk. And the labels are a lot more risk averse at this point because they're not making a lot more money.
It's a very good point, and I respect what you're saying. Why do you think that is? I mean, the music industries worldwide are no longer major labels.
Well, because there is a transition of business model currently from making a lot of revenue from record sales to trying to monetize other things. And because of that, while they're making that transition, I think revenues are likely to be low, and so everything is squeezed, and people are scared, and artists are not getting signed, and that trickles all the way down to Singapore. And it's made worse by the fact that we have a very small local market. But despite all these problems, I know for a fact that there are people out there that are still looking for people to sign. And I think the question is a matter of discovery. Like, I talked to a particular label guy that has been trawling, he tells me he trawls YouTube for hours every day to try to find acts, not just local, but also like globally or regionally.
Can I tell you, I've had an opposite example of that, where I was very shocked that a major label guy had never heard of one of our local artists. And I was really surprised because it was like, this guy's been quite active recently in Singapore.
Yeah, so I guess like I've rambled a little bit, but the long and short of it is, it's great you're involving MediaCorp, you're involving this. I would suggest perhaps that you can involve label A&R directors as well. We have someone in the audience right now, and he's quite important. So sure. But I mean, just in generally, like we reach out to them because who knows, you know, if you present them a viable option, they might just decide to sign it and take a chance on these people.
Did you say there's a major label A&R guy in the room?
There are probably multiples. Yeah. Never mind. I won't out him here. We can go on.
No, thank you. Very important to get that. So, actually, it's very important that we do get that feedback from the major labels. And during one of the discussions, Sandy Monteiro of Universal, who is part of RIAS anyway, is involved in that. And it was very much an important element. So, anyone else? Let's hear from others. I'm going to come all the way back. There you go. If you could just share your name.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm here to be able to share. I'm just, actually I'm a piano teacher, but I've been doing a lot with the children, and I saw that slide with the school. I think it's a really good way to get the public, to increase advocacy through the schools, especially the government is very much into preschool education now, and also about racial unity. And not only that, because we have a lot of foreigners coming into Singapore now, and I've been teaching a real lot of kids from expatriate children, and they are trying to bring music into the little ones. So I think it's good that we have a multiracial society, and so we should really promote local music, and not only that, the roots, our heritage, even the Indian songs, the Malay songs, the Chinese songs, we can jazz them up. And then, the teenagers nowadays, they go and they love K-pop and all that Korean music. But what about Singapore music? Why don't we start with our own S music or something like that, you know what I mean? And I've just done a project, and we can put, you can jazz up Venaru, whatever Indian music, and chant Mali chant, and make it so different with all that different instruments. I mean, the children, they love percussion, and there's just so much that we can be so passionate about music. I am all out for what you're doing. It's really great because I've just done a project. I got the children to do the lion's roar, just 4 sentences, and they shake to the music and all that. I mean, we should be doing more of such things.
How long have you been teaching the piano?
Oh, 20 over years.
There you go. You're not going to give up teaching, are you?
Oh, no, certainly.
No way.
I think I'm just like beginning of another journey. I mean, I just did a project. I'm so excited about it, just that I don't have the expertise of all that support in media. I was in advertising before. I did, with media, with the press holdings and all that. But it's just that on my own, like you say, sometimes it's difficult to be heard. You need a group of people to back you up in the passion that you have. So I'm glad this is the first time I'm, into such a thing, and I believe that, I could get somewhere with what I am passionate about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We like that, don't we? Yes. You're so easy. You're right next to me, so you're going to get the microphone. There you go.
Hi, my name is Matthew Quack. I'm a local artist. I've been doing it for many years. But I'd like to first tell you the struggles that we all face, right? I'm not sure if some of you might find it familiar. I mean, we grew from a generation where we had to play it safe. So most of other parents say, go to university, do something really safe, be a doctor, lawyer, or a school teacher, which I am. Been a school teacher for about 10 over years. And so you have to straddle between your passion, which is music. So during my time of teaching for 10 over years, I produced 6 solo albums. But the obstacles are this, right? After we do all this stuff and these projects, we don't get funding. All these solo projects I did were totally self-funded, all right? And after getting all that album production, everything done, even with musicians like Jeremy Montero and so on, promotion and publicity is very bad also because, as you can see, commercial local music, the word commercial, the definition of it varies. Some people say, oh, only Mandarin pop is commercial. Some people say only English band music is commercial. So what then is commercial in our local market? And then if they don't take a chance on you here, will they take a chance on you overseas, where there are others doing the same kind of music you're doing as well? For example, Charlie's music was really great. I enjoyed it, right? But his music is, I think, something which can be exported overseas. But there are not many artists who can do the same kind of music. Some people do some other less common music, maybe more fringe music, but we don't get much funding. And so we ask NAC, we ask Mika, sometimes we even write to ministers as well. And most of the time, the emails are always forwarded back to NAC and say, okay, we'll look into it, and then we'll come up with more ideas. And I found out about this platform through NAC and Mika, so I'm grateful for that. But the thing is that it's so frustrating because you try so hard, and most of the time, commercial music often involves, number one, packaging. Do you have the packaging in terms of image and so on? Number two, do you have the connections? If you have been a school teacher all your life, all you face are students and marking, not many times of connection, right? And number three, do you have a band or something to support you? If you're solo like me, very hard to get support. Then number four, will the government recognize you? Will you get all the gigs and recognition for major events? If not, you just sing in your own bathroom, right? And number five, right? Do you get a stable revenue and income from teaching and doing music? If not, too bad, be a school teacher like me for 10 years, right? So it's difficult. I'm already about 30s or so. It's difficult to get to that kind of stage where I can make music a form of livelihood and a form of recognition. It's tough. And just now when Ben was talking about tell my friends, I'm signed on with them as well. They've been very kind to advise me how to use my music and so on, and I'm very glad to be under their tutelage. But I can tell you this, it's not easy to be a local musician because we struggle locally for lack of support and we struggle internationally for lack of a market as well.
Thank you, Matthew. Thank
you.
Thanks. Let's hear some others as well. Let's get some comments from others. Let's go back to the comment of advocacy, you know, getting more interest towards local music. Anyone want to make a comment about radio? Come on. Let's go. Whoa, as soon as I said that. Ken, is it about radio? Yeah.
Okay, just because I'm more to the Mandarin side, just to be fair to the radio, because I have been in the music industry since I was 19. I started from Sun Yao, and I'm going to be 44 years old, and I'm still doing music. Okay, so it's the passion really counts a lot, and actually. You got to have a very open mind, I must say, because last time I was a very closed-up person. I don't meet people, I don't social, I just make music, but that doesn't work. So for the past couple of years, I actually really opened up myself due to my religion or whatever, and it seems to change. And I got more opportunities to share my music, not only in Singapore, in China, and I'm going to States end of the year, Philadelphia.
Do you get any support, financial support to do
No,
this?
I sold my house. I sold my house, HDB flat, to support my non-profit art company.
Hopefully recently you sold it.
3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But later on, no, 3 years ago it was quite a good.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. But later on I got my build to order, luckily, and it's coming in 2014.
Have you ever applied for government grants and schemes?
Yes, because it's supported by NAC, Arts Fund, Hong Leong Foundation, Lee Foundation, although it's a one-man show. I need to do up a lot of paperwork. So even as an upfront artist or behind, but it's always a learning journey for me. And until yesterday, after making music and singing for past 2 decades, the first time I was invited back to in-flight channels. It's the first time that I got to share my music with all the in-flight channels, like Cathay, Eva, Anna, China Air, others. And I've actually done a couple of good production as well. So my point is, if you love music, you don't give up. Like Clement, actually I replied to one of Clement's one email one of the days, Sunday, when he was very moody.
Matthew.
Yep, so that's why I was here today as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's nice to see that you've invested in your art, your craft. Anyone else? So there's advocacy, actually in a way you're talking about internal advocacy as well. We need to be a little bit more confident and say, right, we're going to do this. Anyone else? Come on. Come on. Do you think actually, do you think playing in schools is a good idea? Yeah? I mean, bearing in mind, by the way, playing in schools is not just to create interest, it's also to create more performance skills as well. When you go in front of an audience. Charlie, where's Charlie? Has he gone? Oh, he's at the back. Charlie, you would, this is not being disrespectful in any way, but when you were performing last week, you had, a big audience and you were much more energized. Why were you not energized here? But the thing is, yeah, no sleep, he says. No, but the other thing about playing in schools is these kids love the music. They're very excited about going to see the band. So it's good for an artist to find different ways of performing as well. So performances in schools. Now, the great thing about that is if you get 150 kids listening to Six, for instance, or listening to Sugar Shay. I mean, seriously, there's all these pictures on Facebook of these bands performing at these schools. And they are, there was a video clip on Sugar Shay's TV channel of the kids just basically crowding around his car, so glad to get his autograph. And who says they don't like local music? They just like great music. The same goes for the other acts as well. So playing in these schools could help create the advocacy for the future as well, because do these kids listen to radio? There's a few people saying, no, they don't. They don't. The future isn't, as you say, major labels. It's also about a different way of doing it. Someone's waving at me because they want to make a comment. Yeah, of course you can. Anytime. You have to stand up, though.
Okay. Hi. Yeah. I'm not a musician. I'm just with musician friends. But I was thinking that I think that kids respond so well to performances, right? I was telling my friend, I think they don't differentiate between styles or looks or anything. They just like, what they hear. As long as it sounds good, they can bounce around and stuff, then they like it immediately. Whereas for us, right, we all have a different taste. As you grow older, we filter what we don't like and what we like. So even the issue is, it's not just radio that needs to get music out, it's the quality of radio. You listen to 97 FM, 90.5. They have all these, 90.5 is known for contemporary rock. 987 is for pop, pure pop. Lush is known for all the indie stuff. But the thing is, it's so different that each radio has a target market. Lush 99.5 is for hipsters, or I listen to all of them, but 987 is for people who just like easy listening. So when they keep sticking to that, they have no opportunity to listen to other genres or even local music, because in local music there's so many genres as well. So the main thing is not just advocacy, it's approaching the correct people and the stations to play according to the genre that people will be open to. That's what I think, that's all.
Well, actually, on that point, if I may also ask as well, the idea of having listening parties, do you think that that's a good idea as well? The idea of actually sort of inviting a bunch of media people to a pub, club, whatever, and they get a chance to hear music that's been, obviously of a certain standard, because, we obviously want to have quality. But do you think that type of thing's a good idea as well, having listening parties? I see a lot of people nodding, which is good. Yes. Okay, well then the last thing I would ask really is about extended recorded repertoire. How many of you guys would like to get free time in a studio to record your next album, yeah? No, but yeah, sorry, no. Sorry, yeah, Charles is at the back, yeah. Sorry, we've all got to donate for, anyway. Let's not get on that. But no, I don't mean it that way. What I mean is that, you know, obviously it's tough, but just like, you know, Ken here sold his house, how many of you guys are prepared to sell your guitar or whatever you've got to record? That's the next thing, you know. There's a lot of people here that, yeah. In fact, you're giving away your guitar, aren't you, Inch? So if you donate towards Inch's album, she's giving away her guitar. So again, that's the sort of thing we need to do. I'll talk a little bit more about recorded repertoire in a minute. Sorry. Just finish off with one last slide, and then I would like to invite someone else to take over for a little while. This is basically a couple of things that we're doing in the next few months until January. And I'm going to again have to ask Shahid to talk about the first point.
Actually, the first one is not really entirely music related. But the Dola Qasim Charity Cup is actually being organized by Compass and Prakamus. And it's a form of engagement between, you know, the songwriters with the media, with Berita Harian, and Singapore. The SG Museum wants to send a team. Well, you know, me being the honorary Malay on the exco is saying we should play football. Right? So we are trying to form a team. There is, and it's $1,000 for a team submission, and basically it's going to be held over. It's properly organized with qualifying rounds, quarterfinals, semifinals, and a final, and it will. So it's going to happen from October onwards. So if you are interested to kind of, play ball, let me know. Again, approach me on the site later on, and let's fill up a team sheet. And you know, any of you can actually come along and play. To be honest, all right. So yeah, I mean, it's for a good cause. At the end of the day, also you will get to. I mean, on one front, it's good fun to play every Sunday. You know, kick the ball around. But at the same time, you also get to network with. Media, because there will be media there, not just Malay media, but right across the board. So it's really meant to kind of get to know everybody involved in the music industry while, you know, having a bit of fun at the same time. Really, that's about it. And so back to you, Graham.
Thank you, Shahid. And just very quickly, we're going to be having some workshops. Aging Youth are going to be running some workshops in the next few months. Very much focused, again, very much smaller scale, but we're looking at subjects like artist management, musicianship, and artist branding. So they will come, and we'll obviously make you guys aware of those. We are putting together a conference and festival plan. In other words, looking at the international conferences and festivals that are around the world that we think might be relevant. And actually, we would love to hear your feedback, because you may have been at a festival overseas or a conference and felt it was very valuable to be there. It'd be very important to get your feedback on that as well. Of course, we've done a lot of research to date, and of course, we'll share it with everybody that is a member. So if you haven't signed up, sign up quick. But we will share this information, obviously, to help you as we move forward. And then finally, we're going to have another music forum in January, but I won't talk too much about that as we move forward. Emails, 4 email addresses you might want to consider. The management, we have the executive committee, and this is the management team. So it's Graham, Shahid, Mike, and Danny. They're all here. So if you want to send them an email, give them your opinions, ask for feedback as well, please feel free to email any of the group, and I know they're looking at me and say, I've got nothing to say. No. What do you want to email me for? But seriously, if you've got any questions or any comments, and we will have another chance to keep this discussion going, but I would like to actually get off and shut up for a little while, and I would like to ask Erica from YouTube to join us, because Erica's got some interesting news for you as well. Erica, thanks very much. Let's hear it for Erica.
Thank you very much. And first of all, I am Singaporean, so although I work in Hong Kong, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here. throughout my career for the last 8 years, I work with different companies, inclusive of music labels as well. But my passion has always been doing music licensing to bring our music from Asia, particularly from Singapore, to be known and heard for the rest of the world. So that was what I have always invested my time in. And for the confession here is because I can't sing. I can't do music, so what I can do is to be a part of your value chain in order to bring our music overseas. So I was asked to do a very quick introduction about YouTube as a whole for about 10 minutes. And I was just thinking, how better to do it than to show you a video.
When we first started, it was just trying to share these clips with one another. We saw the power of simplifying a process and giving everyone a solution.
Hi YouTube, we just want to say thank you. Today we have some exciting news for you. We've been acquired by Google. Hello?
Johnny, that really hurt!
I'm Clara, I'm 91 years old.
This is the CNN YouTube debate.
Yes, we can!
One of the features of growing old is heightened awareness of change.
Is this real life?
Oh my God, you're walking.
We keep having this!
Justin Bieber's getting ready to go down.
People who are taking these pictures are literally risking their lives to do what they're doing, and YouTube gives them a venue.
No more, use your eyes, the world goes and flutter by. Use your eyes, even though you are. Use your eyes, the world goes and flutter by. Use your eyes, even though you are.
Put your devices on. Yeah.
Electricity, wires sit down, rainbow colors fade into brown. Attention is miles shifting for you
Thank you. And at this time, I usually ask a question that's a little bit silly, but think about it. So Dr. Jia, the Pope, the Queen, and Obama, what do they have in common? They all have a YouTube channel. And I hope, I'm not going to ask, but I hope that most of you, if not every one of you, actually have a YouTube channel. So, oopsie. We just got to do it the manual way. Right, so I'm just going to share with you some top-line figures about, what are the global audiences that we are looking at for YouTube. As we always say, it's not about us, it's all about the user. So just when I was struggling with the technology over there, another 72 hours of videos has already been uploaded. So generally, across the board, every day we get about 4 billion views. So if you talk about where are my audience, how can I get my voice being heard, is there. If you talk about why am I not on radio, I would say think about online. So I will not try to explain what is YouTube because I believe that you already know and you are living the dream. But more importantly, I wanted to share with you our passion, about music on YouTube. I truly believe, and our company, I would have to say my team actually believe as well, YouTube is a very good leveling ground because we're not talking about whether you are signed, you're unsigned, you are indie label, or you are a major label, it doesn't really matter. Because what we've actually done is we have lowered the entry barrier to only one video cam. So as long as you have a video cam, you have a camera, you can talk, you can sing, you have an audience. I truly believe that there is an audience for every single kind of sound out there, and please do not ever give up. Because I've spoken to a lot of musicians over my time with the company. And then I think I saw one common trend about the, successful musicians. They never give up. Because you can say that, nobody gets heavy metal in Japan. Not true. If you go to Summer Sonic, It's crazy big. And if your audience, if you think that your audience is not in Singapore, let's go further. Let's take your voice to the audience out there. So I truly believe it comes back to there's an audience for every single kind of voice out there. The miracle is you just have to find yours. And easier said than done, but we are here to help together with the society, and just don't give up. Let's keep on playing music. How for the YouTube, how we are working with the, the music industry is we have worked with the major labels, the collecting society. If you are a singer-songwriter and you are a member of, say, Cash in the Hong Kong or Compass in Singapore, we are also working with them. But more importantly than not, we have more of the independent and individual artists. So I do have a lot of, I would say, coming to close like past millions. So they are singer-songwriter in their bedroom. So I can give you plenty of suggestions about how to get it done, but we can always have a side dialogue about it. So I've put together some screenshots that you'll recognize Cartier. Let's flash back about 6 months ago. Probably wouldn't know the band. But now because they put 5 guys together with 1 guitar, they're crazy big. And guess what? They are now officially releasing their new materials, and it also brought the discovery of the original music as well. So that is a case study of where you are doesn't really matter. It's really finding your audience and what makes you so special. Let's bring it out there for more people to see. PSY, crazy big right now. And I think you must have heard that he's signed by, Schoolboy Records, who is the manager of Justin Bieber. So again, that is a case study. What does he sing in? Korean. So music doesn't have language barrier. So let's not think about, I am local music. No, music is music, period. So I'm just going to stop rambling down, and then I'll leave you with a very interesting case study about one of the artists that actually took opportunity of the Google Plus Hangout and how she managed to stream a concert from her bedroom to an audience of about 200,000 people. That's not too bad.
I started writing songs when I was 14, and I was dreaming, maybe there's this wider world that I could sing for. Maybe my people are out there somewhere. And so I signed up to Google+. Felt intuitive and exciting, and then I put up this little handwritten sign that said, Hangout Concert plus Daria Musk. I pressed start a Hangout, and there was no one there. And I thought, oh God, I've played enough empty rooms to know that feeling. Just then, a face popped in, and another, and what blew my mind was how instantly global it was. We've done 3 really massive Hangout concerts, and my 3rd Hangout concert was watched by over 200,000 people. So everyone's got a shot. I thought we'd do Plus One Me, because it's the Hangout song. I watch the sunrise and know it. The immediacy and authenticity that I've been able to create with people in Hangouts, I can now follow through with the actual release of my music. We actually were able to take the audio from the Hangout concerts and cut it into my first live album. Right now, if you get on Google Plus and you show that you're doing something remarkable, they'll notice you. That's the way it works. So people are making business partners and finding global audiences instantly. Google Plus definitely changed my life, changed my heart. It changed everything in an instant.
Beautiful.
Is that okay?
Next slide. So that could really be you. You could be the next one. And I know, yep, so if you want to find your audience, I'm definitely happy to work with you. So call me maybe. But if you have any questions?
Yeah, any questions for Erica at this point?
I'm not going to sing, don't worry.
Yeah, the next performance is Erica.
Everybody happy with YouTube?
Who would like to see? Who would like to see a Singapore YouTube page, YouTube site? 1 hand, 2 hands, aggregated, just for Singapore. Here's one.
Actually, just when I was sitting in the audience, I was thinking about open call, because some of the countries actually do that quite a lot. So basically, it's a venue. And then there will be an open call every quarter of every year. And then you invite all the artists to sing a song. Make or break is 5 minutes. And all the A&R and all the label and everybody will be there. So it's just a chance to make an impression. So, I think an initiative like that will be interesting because with a platform like YouTube, and if we have that kind of content and an open call, we can totally take it internationally instantly. So I think that could be interesting one to discuss. Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. Any questions?
They're very
can
shy.
ask me about
They're very shy, Erica.
anything.
We can, maybe what we'll do is, you're going to be around anyway, aren't you? So if you've got any questions for Erica, please just befriend her at the end. Let's hear it again for Erica, please. Thank you. Thanks, Erica. Okay, I just want to also just take 10 minutes, if I can, to provide some other information that you may not be aware about, or you may be aware about, that I think could be quite useful at this point. If you remember, I talked about increased recorded repertoire. One of the opportunities that actually is available at the moment in Singapore, obviously, is government grants. And I'd just like to share with you some information that is public knowledge, of course, because you can go to the website and find out more information. And of course, you may have questions relating to these government grants. But recently, we've seen a lot more support towards the music industry in the areas of grants. There's a lot more work to be done. But of course, one of the things that we obviously want to do is leverage from these grants to be able to help artists and performers, digital services, production, and all the various parts of the ecosystem. Just wanted to make you aware of 5 grants from MDA. Just 1 second. Could you turn the lights off so they can see the screen a bit better? You want to make sure you turn the right ones off? There we go. So there's actually 5 grants that are actually available that relate to the music industry at the moment. And I'll go through them very quickly. I don't want to spend too much of your time because I want to come back to you guys to get more feedback. But there are 5 grants that are listed here: development, production, marketing, talent, and enterprise. And each one has a certain support for each area. I'm just going to quickly go through a few of these. And I don't want to walk near the microphone. The development assistance. Now, you may know that there was actually a grant for EPK. Who doesn't know what EPK stands for? Exactly, you all know exactly what it stands for. But this grant has actually been expanded to include the recording of a single. So you can see here various criteria available. This is the initiative making single and press kits available. And the assistance, the applicant will receive up to 8,000 in funding support only once under the scheme in any 12-month period, okay? So if you're recording a single and you need funding to help you, there is a grant out there to help fund that. Now, this has to be for an artist who is unsigned by a label, okay? So it's very much that entry level in helping you to take that material and help you get signed or to help promote yourself with a label or whichever ways you're going. Various different elements to the submission. There is a committee that make the decision on how this grant is provided. But again, it's very, very powerful to provide an $8,000 grant for development. In production assistance, now, you have to excuse me as I have to look up here. This is a bit different. Now, this is applicable to all media sectors. Bearing in mind that music is 50% of what we see, it's very important. But how many times do we find that music is never given the status when it comes to production? It's always the last minute thing. Hey, I'll just get some library music. No, why not commission and actually work with artists to create music for production? So in other words, this could be scoring and recording for broadcast, animation, film, games, interactive, and of course, digital media, interactive digital media as well. Support production activities pertain to the composing. Again, this is not off the shelf. This is composing, arranging, recording, and of course, the production of original music. Very supportive in that sense. I won't go through this and read this word for word, but you can find all the information on MDA's website, and I'll share the link in a minute. But the fund will cover up to 40% of the Singapore spend. Make that very clear. You're not going to go over to New York and spend it there, okay? You're spending it in Singapore, and Singapore spend. Singaporeans, permanent residents, by the way, okay? just to remind you there as well. Production assistance is expanded as well for those that are signed EPs or albums. And again, it's 40% of Singapore spend. And that is also very supportive. It actually helps a lot of our artists get out there and increase their repertoire and record. Moving forward, marketing assistance. One of the important things that happened in January, and I didn't mention this and I do apologize, but a group of local acts and local professionals went to MIDEM in France and was exposed to the international marketplace that actually happens over there. Now, it's a great opportunity to be exposed to these international marketplaces, and we certainly want to. The purpose of building a sort of event plan is to be able to then target which events we think will be very good for people to go as a collective, not as individuals, as a collective. So again, MDA have supported in the past and continue to want to support in this area as well and provide funding in those areas. Moving forward, talent assistance. This is actually quite a lot of information. And again, what's very important is that there is actually some great support schemes out there to help the assistance of talent. There is training and then there is attachment. And the training is actually quite hefty support. 90% of a course fee for short, specialized, non-WSQ. If you know what WSQ stands for, the Workforce Skills Qualification Framework. So WSQ courses are not covered in this area. 90% course fees. If it's training here, overseas training support, again, the course fees are supported. A training allowance for freelancers, only when they take time away from projects, you know, and you want to learn more and become better people. Local attachments, providing salaries. Again, capped at 70% there. Monthly salary to a maximum of 1,400 per month, which is, I know it's not too bad actually when you think about it, supporting as you are progressing your career. And then overseas attachments as well. And if I go back up, looking at the training, overseas training and the training allowance, these are capped to $15,000 annually, and obviously a training allowance is $9,000. This is administered by 6 Degrees. And Jeanette, are you here? Jeanette, if you want to know more about the assistance here in the training side, Jeanette is from the 6 Degrees, and Jeanette would answer any of your questions. In fact, if you want to sign up now, go and see Jeanette, okay? And she has more information, so she's looking after this initiative on behalf of MDA. Goes further, scholarships. Any of you want to go overseas and come back and be bonded? Yes, I'll do it tomorrow, actually, I'd love to. But the scholarship under the Media Education Scheme here is at 3 different levels: students and industry professionals to pursue undergraduate or postgraduate related courses at reputable overseas institutions. Course fees, tuition fees, compulsory university fees are covered, but then there's also a set amount depending on which country you're going to, which is also covered, including Singapore. So it's not excluding Singapore. Now the bond period obviously is $60,000 and below 3 years, above $60,000 up to $150,000, 4 years, and then above $150,000, 5 years bond, okay? There's one more, and then I'll just show you the link so you can ask more questions if you need to. The enterprise scheme is more for organizations and helping to develop the industry from that point of view. Now, if we think about companies with innovative, amazing ideas, there are actually grant schemes, and I refer the word grant, not ownership schemes, that provide opportunities here. And various criteria regarding the cap of 50% of the total qualifying costs. Company must have plans for significant increase in sales and revenue. So this is for businesses, not necessarily for the individuals, but a very good support scheme. And then finally, actually, supporting productivity. So if you are an organization and you have a way of increasing your productivity inside your organization, there is actually up to $150,000 per company, per project, which is capped at 30%. So again, they're grant schemes that are available. You can go to MDA's website, schemes, pages, grant schemes, .aspx, whatever that means. I'm not technical. But you do have to type that in as well, okay? So those schemes are available. I'm going to jump out of this slide. we covered YouTube, we covered MDA, and now I'd like to switch the lights back up if we can, and let's just go back to having more of a discussion with you guys in this. Can I ask your opinion about the grant schemes that are available today? Can we get some feedback on your awareness of these schemes? How many of you knew of these schemes in the first place? Could you put your hand up if you knew about them? Great, excellent. By the way, if you didn't know, it's okay. Put your hand up if you didn't know. Okay, just a small group of you. That's okay, that's fine. Any comments? Come on, I know you didn't have a chance to read it in full detail, but if you already know about these schemes, then you know. How many of you have applied? There's a few of you have applied. Any comments on the schemes? Let's hear from you. And I do have a microphone that I hope is going to work. Yes, Matthew. You're allowed to stand up twice. It's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, I did apply for one of the schemes here in regard to producing a new album as well. The process was as such: you actually recommend a project, and a panel of distinguished judges who may not review will evaluate the feasibility of it. So the outcome of it was something not too positive. They felt that it was not commercial enough. So that was why in the end the whole thing was rejected. So maybe I'll try again.
Maybe you have to sell your house. Yes.
Hi, my name is Sam. I actually manage my son, Miguel, who's 11 years old. We applied for the EPK. We got the grant, thanks to MDA. Apparently, it's the first grant. Is May here? Can we verify this?
Is that
She's not
true?
here.
Wow,
Oh, yes,
grant,
okay.
yeah.
Apparently, it's the first grant. So, anyway, it was quite a breeze. Actually, it was not too difficult. They needed some background. If you go and check, the EPK is actually a very good tool to start off on the internet. Now he's got his own website with the EPK embedded inside. So, not too bad.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Talking about grants? No? Janice, you have a question? Of course you can ask a question. You have to stand up, though. In fact, I'm going to make you stand on the stage. No, I won't do that to you.
I have a question, and I don't know whether you can answer it or MDA can answer it. It's about the scholarships.
Right.
And if musicians apply for that, who do they get bonded to?
Me. No.
Singapore? Or
Yeah.
it's just a very practical question, really.
Yeah. Actually, Shahid will probably like to make a comment on that one.
If I'm not wrong, it has to be an organization that needs to apply for the scholarship on behalf of the musician, and then because of that relationship, he has to be bonded to that organization.
Can it be a label?
It could, I guess, I don't know. Yes, okay,
Yeah.
that answer it.
Please, Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily from MDA. Yeah, for that, right?
Everyone's laughing. It's like, you know.
Okay, for that, right, in fact, it's just not for music, so it cuts across all the 7 subsectors. What we do is MDA will work with an organization. Essentially, we'll jointly award the scholarship. So the idea is that for the recipient, right, they'll come back and work for the company. Yeah, so that's why for music it has been kind of challenging so far, because we are still yet to find that company or those willing organizations to come together with MDA to offer the scholarship. So in other media sectors, for example, like TV or even film, I think not so much yet. For TV, for example, so it's people like MediaCorp, SPH, or even some of the bigger production companies. So far they have come on board. Yeah. So for music, you're still looking for that company.
That catalyst, yeah.
That's right.
Now you know that MDA are in the room. Wow. So any questions? Thanks, Emily. Any other comments you want to raise? This is an opportunity for you guys to make your views felt about the music scene here in Singapore, about my shirt, about anything. Yes, you're making me walk all the way to the back, you know that. But you're allowed to.
Sorry, just now the gentleman, you said some proposal you made was rejected, yeah? And because it's not commercial enough, I don't really get how you mean by not commercial enough, yeah.
Matthew, could you explain a little bit? I can gather what you might say, but I think it's better that it comes from...
Thanks for the clarification. Actually, to clarify, that scheme was not just for EP, but to have a press kit. That was one of the first schemes show there, so that you're supposed to have a press kit to advertise your product. So according to the judges' comments who evaluated the project, they say that it's not viable commercially in terms of a local market and international. There must be a certain kind of commercial slant to it that makes it feasible for sales and for propagation of material. So perhaps in that sense, it was not considered mainstream enough, perhaps. I also was trying to figure it out, so I'd like to know exactly also, but this is how I received it, yeah.
Yes. We'll come back if I can, yeah.
Hi, I just want to share with you some experience that I had with raising funds for music. I own my own record label and also a platform, some of my friends I mentioned earlier. And really it's a challenge to get funding for MDA for my business because I'm not a content provider, I'm a platform. I've developed a platform so far with my own funds. I did sell my house and I quit my job too to do this. But anyway, nowadays we just want to make sure that the platform is there for all of you guys to do it. Now let me share with you in the past 6 months that I've started this business, I've raised $45,000 for 3 artists to do 1 single each. Okay, and it can be done. So other than looking for grants, you can really look for private investors to raise funds for your production. And maybe through a label, or maybe you can talk to me offline, how we can then find investors for you to invest in the effort and the resources for you to do your album. Because at the end of the day, investors are very clear. They just want to have a way to get the money back of what they put with you in your talent, in your effort, in your recording. Because let's say, I mean, if you want to look from the investor's point of view, I'm putting in money to pay for studio time, you know, for artists, for sessionists and stuff, you know. What's my chance of me getting my money back? That's the main thing for investors, from an investor's point of view. It's business, okay? So let's say if you do not have those resources, you can talk to any label, even can come talk to me and see how we can find to match investors to talent as from a private funding point of view. Thanks.
Ben, you're staying around, yeah? Yeah. So if you want to speak to Ben later, please come and, sorry, let's go back to the lady. Shimona, next, yeah?
Sorry, I mean, talking about this grant, I just now was sharing that, you know, I've got so great ideas, but, you know, you don't have the expertise. My own video may not be up to the standard. Yeah, so, I mean, like, I think a lot of people are talking about holistic approach, and I happen not just be in the area of music, I'm also a great supporter of the arts. I mean, I was trained in fine arts and graphic arts, and I think music will tie in very well, you know, like having an orchestra and people playing our own music, and then the artists are painting, and, you know, everything integrated, even for acting, drama, and all that. So if I have great ideas and, you know, like sketches of such things, would I be able to make a proposal and get some kind of grant? You know, like, you know, putting all these ideas together, who do I approach?
I think the point there is that, you know, if you've got ideas and you may need partners to help you and other people, there is actually a way of, you know, applying for those grants and maybe getting help from the government to put you in contact with other people as well can help you. So if you're doing a video, we could take this offline actually, because your specific questions regarding, you know, how to get help, but we can find partners to help you if that's the case. So, Shimona, where are you? There you go.
Hey everyone. Just about that thing about, you know, it being rejected because it's not commercial enough. I think this is one problem that many of us face. The question of what's mainstream, what's commercial. And I think one thing that Ben actually addressed, it was like a micro solution that we actually, Bevelyn and I were talking about. But on a general sense, right, how actually can we, especially independent artists who are not commercial and mainstream, and we don't want to sacrifice our art for funding, how else can we get funds, and how can we be supported by the government on a larger scale? Any ideas?
I wish I could answer that question with you with an easy answer. I've got my checkbook with me. Does that help? No. Yeah. Who's clapping? He's not that important.
Hey, got clapped. Okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Mike. I'm the vice president. I'm the vice president for the Singapore Music Society, and I also run artist management company called Riot Records. But I'm speaking on sort of not behalf of the society, but as an individual. I think there's been a lot of questions around the funding, what is commercial and what is not. The reality is this, when you send, and I'm saying this because I've been a recipient, all my artists have been recipients of the funding, whether it's from MDA, NAC, or other sort of supporting bodies. It's not about genres. It's not about whether my music is mainstream or not. I think it's about building a case to show how you can grow your audience, one. What are you using this money for? I mean, like for example, when we went to South by Southwest, we built a case, we are going there to meet certain people, I'm meeting this number of people, when, and what do I want to get out of it? So the problem I've been hearing from a lot of artists so far today is that I want the money because I want to go there. All right, okay, and the problem is if you go with that approach, MDA is going to go, yeah, but what are you going to do? Are you just going to go there, play, and come back and hope that someone watches you in your show and sign you on? So that's the problem. It's very hard for them to justify who do they give the fund to if you don't build a proper case study. And I think that's something that we've been talking about from a society standpoint, which is we might hold a workshop. Again, you might hate me for saying this. to educate certain artists, or to educate artists in Singapore with regards to how to approach these different funding and grant schemes. Because it's nothing to do with genre. Sometimes when you say, oh, it's not commercial enough, that's why they don't. And then you get angry, you think it's because your music is not mainstream. Bullshit. I know of artists like I'm David Sparkle, Caracal. These are fringe, like totally fringe, yeah. Like very niche, but they got funding before, but because they have a great case study, a niche audience they're going for, which is relevant, a festival which is relevant to their music, and it makes sense, with regards to returns. So I think for artists, my advice is to approach this from a more mature sort of perspective, rather than just, I want some money and want support from the government, if that makes sense. Any question to that?
Any comments on that? Yeah.
No, really are not allowed.
Sorry, I need to steal that microphone because we can't seem to get in here. Yeah, we go down the back there. Is it the man in the hat? Oh, it's the man in the hat. Come out the front, Willie, come on.
I'm not taking questions from Willie.
Do you want to be him? Wait a minute. You want to be him out there?
No, I just came up to add on to what Mike has said just now about Caracal, David Sparker, and all that, because I feel that I think one of the things that we chatted about internally before, I think Graham did this dialogue, right? Too many people are bitching too much. You guys are just all bitching and say nobody's giving me a handout. Thank you. Because if you're just going to carry on bitching, right, nothing's ever going to get done. It's like, I mean, you think that you guys do very indie music, right? But that's bullshit. Most of the stuff that people who complain about, right, is too mainstream. Unfortunately, it's still not that mainstream enough. I mean, what's so alternative about a girl sitting on a piano and singing a love song? Lady Gaga did it before she became an alien. So, I mean, she became an alien, that's why she became mainstream. So, I mean, like, I don't know, I mean, I just came out just to share what I thought, and I think that if you can't find any government grants or anything, right, is that going to stop you from doing your craft? If that's going to stop you, right, I mean, just be a banker, be a lawyer, be an engineer, I think you make more money out of it. I mean, Singapore housing, $1.7 million for one bloody condo is really expensive. I don't think anybody can afford it by being a musician in Singapore. Sorry, that one I should like talk to people.
Shall I take the microphone away from it?
Yeah, sure. No,
yeah.
I'm having a bit of a flu, sorry. Yes,
no, Willie.
Well, actually...
Kudos, man. Kudos. No. I'm bowing to you. Danny.
Actually, our committee meeting is the most common word is bullshit. And we are very honest with this. And I just want to be honest also. I think, Mike and really struck what they said, really, I believe in that. I think you need to do your homework. The grants are there. The information is there. And I think they don't owe you anything to give it to you. And if they do give it to you, I think that that's only because you have a case study. You did your homework, right? But I want to just commend Graham. Just give a hand to Graham. He's been 4 hours, dude. 4 hours.
It's not just the 4 hours, mate, I can tell you.
It's one of the main things I wanted to say. But I also, when he met me months ago to talk about this crazy idea of unifying everyone, I told him the problem was unity. And I just want to quickly talk about that. We have to be united as a music scene. I think that we can learn from history of music scene. We can look at the history, and you look at the 70s and the 60s and even 80s, you know, there was a much more viable music scene. I don't know if you guys know this, but you should find out about the history and what we can learn from the past. I don't like to talk about the past too much, but I mean, in particular, there's bands like Stray Dogs, people like The Quest, and look at what they did, because you know what? They actually had #1 hits on radio. Stray Dogs had a song called Freedom. It went to #1 in Malaysia, also in Singapore. In those days, there was a transition, separation. They were #1 in Malaysia and Singapore. In fact, their song was banned in Singapore then. Yeah. And we had #1 hits, and I'm quite sure Kevin Matthews, you all know from Watchmen, had #1 hits too. What happened? So I think we have to revisit that and see why did the past produce #1 hits for Singapore bands, and radio was playing a lot more of that. And I think one of the reasons because there was support. I think Singapore's growth economically has been very, very fast. We excel in a lot of things, and I think maybe it's come to a point where we are overcritical about our own fellow musicians. Sometimes we don't show enough support, and I think that's something that I want to touch on. Yeah. That as a society, for me, what I like to see is more support for each other. Instead of saying, the first thing is, oh, you know, it's okay, you know, even though the album is good, it's, oh, maybe, you know, the vocals are not very clear. No, just listen to it clear and have an immediate, natural inclination to say Singapore music is great. You know, I think that's lacking. We always find a way to criticize each other, and I think we need to stop that. It's a mentality thing. You look at the 70s, there were people screaming at the Quest, screaming in a good way, I mean. Yeah, of course. At the Quest, and watching Stray Dogs, you know, it was packed. There was a concert, my bass player is Francis Chan, he used to play with a few bands, and he told me that 50,000 people came to it was a police concert, our police, our police force, and you know, 50,000, and what happened? So I think it starts with us. You know, it's not just about the music fans, it starts with the musicians, the producers, managers, and to say for once, immediately Singapore music is great. And I think that we have to start thinking that way and listen to everybody's material and give critical feedback, but not naturally finding ways to criticize each other. You know, I think it's a mentality problem and a mindset problem. And one of the things I was going to suggest to Graham was that all of us as a society, members of the society, submit a request to the radio stations to play a particular local song, Singapore song. In fact, I don't really like the word local, Singapore song, right? Whereby we take it upon ourselves every single week to send a request for a particular Singapore band. It could be Six, it could be anyone. Great Spy Experiment, and say, can you play this song? Maybe it starts there. If all of us, 388 people send a request every week, don't you think they'll listen? They'll probably find it weird getting all these emails saying, can you play Caracal? Can you play Electrico? Whoever. It doesn't matter. But maybe we can start there. Because at the end of the day, the bands need support. And it's not just support as in you go to a gig and then sit and watch a band looking very bored. But support is a natural support to think that these are fellow Singaporeans on stage and we should clap, we should support them. Just naturally, just immediately. So I would suggest for radio, we do that. Maybe we could start doing this. Send a request every week to MediaCorp. I'm sure they'll listen.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Yes.
I'm speaking now as part of the community, a music lover. So I think you heard quite a lot because I do attend a lot of society meetings. Effectively, when you walk up, a lot of musicians will be thinking, what can I do? So I hope that you actually do something because only together we can make a difference. So let me break it out to you. Number one, write. Because singing covers is not going to get you very far in life. Seriously, write your own material. To be taken as a very serious singer-songwriter, if you don't have at least 30 tracks, we will say he or she is maybe doing it for fun. If you are regularly doing, because one album has 10, you should at least have enough repertoire for 30. So, and also for very realistic, online merchandising criteria, you will see that you have enough content to fill it up. So keep writing, have enough material for at least 30 so that people can see that you are actually putting in the effort. Never mind if you hear people saying you're not mainstream or whatsoever. It is your sound, it is your sound. So I give you a classic example for people who might not be very familiar with Zhou Jielun. He's actually the prince of Mandopop. Pop. Before he got famous, about 10 over years ago, he wrote with his co-writer, which is Fang Wenshan. They wrote 350 songs before they even got it big, because that's how much practice you need. So before we actually got about they're not listening to my music, let's write enough so that people can listen. Second very important thing is perform. You don't get it right the first time. I spent my career watching YouTube videos. Yes, it's a very good career. But I spent a lot of time watching a lot of YouTube videos. Not all of them are good, unfortunately. But eventually they do. So, I've seen musicians when they are very small, when they are like 6 years old, and then they are singing when they are 12 years old. They sound totally different because it's the journey you find your voice. What defines you? You have to constantly perform. So in Singapore, I know there are limited venue, but talk to Timber, Mr. Danny, perform for free. I'm serious. People in the US do that all the time. Go to skate park. There are venues there. If you just pull your amp, they will allow you to sing for free. So, upload your video and just practice and have a lot of content going up. Just as long as you keep on performing, because honestly, if the opportunity comes to you and you still sing so-so, the opportunity will fly you by. The third one, I really think it's we have to help each other. So very established musicians like Eric, actually write to them to see if they want to collaborate with you. A lot of YouTube success comes from collaborations. So we do have a lot of people that write to YouTube to say, I'm a singer-songwriter. My sound sounds like this person in the US. Can you link me? We do that all the time. That's why we came out with the YouTube Symphony. That's why we came with the Canon Rock. So these are the collaborations that give you that little bit of a commercial sense, because why? They could be more famous in their world, in their genre, whichever. And they are more than happy so that you can cross-collaborate. Together, you sound differently. That is why Usher did it with Wilbur Pan Weibo. That is why Katy Perry. Kylie Minogue did it with Jolene Tsai. So there's a lot of collaborations, but we don't usually do it in Asia, especially for Singapore. But I can tell you, if you want your hits to go up, talk to Dr. Jia Jia. If you can do a soundtrack with Dr. Jia Jia, I think you will have a lot of tracks. So there are some of the very simple ideas that you can do. These are three main things that you can do today. Write, perform, collaborate. Why? Because the next time round when you send a grant application to MDA, you will tell them, look, I have about 80 million views, 200K subscribers. I want to go to Midem. They will say yes. So unfortunately, in the business world, we talk about figures. And a very quantitative figures you can give them is what is the number of views, what is the number of subscribers. So yes, they're all related to YouTube, but I think this is perhaps a journey that if you think about it and you decide to do something different, when you walk out the door, do all these three things, and perhaps in a year when I see you, I'll be like, hey, well done, can we actually do a concert with you? So, good luck.
Thank you. By the way, my son's band, they didn't pay for free, they actually paid. They paid a venue £50 in London to play, and they get it back, providing that they sell drink. Yeah. Yeah, maybe. Jeanette.
Hi, I'm Jeanette. I'm actually with Emily Hill Enterprise, and 6 Degrees is also part of what we do. Okay, I actually like what Erica said earlier about, that you have to think about the business side of things, right? Especially if you want to apply for the MDA grants and so on, okay, and you want to get some support in that sense. For Emily Hill Institute of Creative Enterprise, one of the things that we do is that we actually run modular courses and we run WSQ diploma courses, and this helps you to deal with the business side of what you're doing in the music industry. So you guys, you're very talented. You already have the musician skills. You're able to write songs, you're able to perform. You know, you have everything together, but talent is not the only thing that you need if you want to make it. You have to think a business-like. Take yourself as a business. Okay, how do I want to brand myself? Okay, how am I going to put everything together? Legally, I need to know things like, copyright issues, that kind of stuff. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff that you need to know besides just being creative. So if you want to know more, you can talk to me later on. Emily Hill Institute of Creative Enterprise, we do some of these things. On top of that, 6 Degrees currently is handling some of the talent assistance grant schemes from MDA, and we also are dealing a little bit with the training allowance part of it. So we can probably help support you guys a little bit out there. 6 Degrees actually is an online platform. It's for freelancers and independents. You want to sign up for the basic membership, it's free. You have a profile, you have, we do have networking nights, monthly, that kind of stuff. So it's both online and offline. So this is some of the stuff that we can probably help provide support.
Thanks, Jeanette. Anyone else? Yep. Belinda, haven't seen you in years. There you go, my dear.
Hi, my name is Belinda, and I'm an artist manager. I haven't been in the music line for very long. Actually, I'm probably one of the most amateurish around here. I've been working in the music industry for about 1.5 years. But one thing I would like to share with you is that I feel what is lacking in the music industry in Singapore is not good music, nor good musicians, are the team behind the musicians. Because musicians have a lot on their minds and they spend a lot of time on their craft. However, we lack the people who are the artist manager, the business managers, the promotional people, what we call the 宣传, right? And all these people do a lot of legwork. Sometimes I feel that in creative, it's not what you know or how do you know how to do it, but it's who you know. And musicians don't have all the time to go out to meet the right people and establish the right connections. And if you want to bring your music, across the seas, and you have to do all the business part of the work and to get connected to the right people, now that's an entire company on its own. So I think as good musicians, one thing that you should look at when you think about exporting your music, it's putting the right team together. And some of these people might not be in the music industry. I was originally from brand marketing. So I was doing events, I was doing social media, and I was in brand. And my artist, which is actually an established recording artist,
we became... Name names, it's all right, go on.
Okay, my artist is actually a Mando Chinese artist called Joy Chua. I'm sure a lot of you here probably knows her. And we found each other, we became fast friends, and she came to me and asked me if I would like to explore a career with her. So I quit my job. And then I turned independent consultant, which I still service a lot of international clients. And that puts me in a position whereby we can look at the business side of the entire music career. So I'm suggesting to you that you look beyond the people you already know who are in the creative industries. Find the traits and the values and the kind of person that you would like in your team and bring those people in your team. And these people might not be full-time for you, they could be part-time. But remember, in every industry, you're always connected to different people, and sometimes it's breaking out of that box that you really need to do to make the next big break. Yeah.
Belinda, hold the microphone, because I might ask you another question. How many, can I come to them just 1 second? How many of you guys are artists? Put your hand up. Almost half the room. How many are managers, artist managers? Can you see the balance here? No, artist managers. In other words, Mike, you look after 1 artist, 2 artists, 3 artists. That's the type of manager we're talking about. Not a service, a manager. Did you see the balance there? There were like 4 or 5 hands that went up. Belinda, why did you do it though?
Well,
why did you change your career? because we've known each other for quite some time, and I knew what you were doing before, and I knew how strong you were in social media. And to hear you change your career, you've done it twice, by the way, haven't you? You've changed your career twice. Yeah.
Okay, maybe just to give a bit of background on myself. My major back in school was film directing. So I was in the creative industry, kind of. I studied in Beijing Film Academy. And I came back to Singapore. I decided that was the time to, give up on that creative dream and did something else. And then I went to F&B, and then I went to events management, and that's how I got to know Graham in actually another event convention. And then thereafter, I, expanded my career into digital PR, whereby I started counseling international clients on their social media strategies and stuff like that. So I was exposed to a variety of marketing disciplines, but I still had this passion in creative. I mean, to me, there's not much of a difference between films and music. They are emotional bridges to people. They still tell stories. So to me, it's not a lot of difference. I know it's hard to find people that actually feel a passion for creative, as well as having a balance in understanding about business and marketing. But there are people out there. It's just making an effort to go out and find them. And for me, I got kind of tired of the corporate life, and I wanted to go back to something that I feel very strongly about, something that I feel is making a difference in people's life. When you're happy, you listen to a happy song. When you're sad, you need one to perk you up. And I think one of the most strongest reason why I worked with Joy was because what I saw in her, not because of her potential, but because what she believes in. I think end of the day, why we make certain decisions in our life is not because of, question to do with how much money do I earn. In the end, there is always a part in all of us that we call this a belief or a vision. So it is really sharing the same vision, finding a team that will, even when things don't go well, you will take it together. I think that is why I do what I do.
Thank you, Belinda. Thank you very much. Mike, you have a point on that? 1 second, yeah?
I completely agree with Belinda with regards to get a right team around you. A manager, the right one for you will really help propel your career forward. But just to qualify, and it's something I'm always very concerned about with regards to local musicians, it is not a one-stop solution and answer to your career. I.e., a manager is not the, oh yes, I got a manager now, I just do nothing about my career and let him or her do wonders for me. Okay, because the problem with a lot of local musicians, again, I know this is something you've heard many times from me, but you guys are a bunch of lazy motherfuckers, right? A lot of you, sometimes it's because you do not know what to do, all right, which is fine, all right? But I think there's a lot of you who also do not realize that to build a music career, there's so much you have to do as an artist, And someone mentioned earlier, Erica, you mentioned about that great Hong Kong artist that wrote 350 songs before. He had one hit. All right, so Clarence, is it? Matthew, sorry. My God, that was so far away. How many times have you submitted your grant for? Twice. I would say that you have to submit at least 20 times, right? Because each time then you get to have a sense of what went wrong, where you should improve. So my point is this, there's obviously a lack of management and the behind the scenes people, but at the same time, do not take that as just the only solution. You have, as an artist, to really put in the kind of efforts as well. Trust me.
Mike, go on, carry on. I've got a question for you in a minute, though. Carry on, go on.
My artists are some are full-time, some are sort of having full-time jobs as well. Or rather, some are full-time musicians, some are part-time musicians with full-time day jobs. In fact, 4 out of 5 in Great Spy are teachers. And despite that, in the last 5 years, we managed to go to South by Southwest, New York, Australia, Paris, and different places. It's challenging, and it's a lot of hard work. So just know that you need to put in that kind of hard work, right?
Mike, Belinda, are you full-time? Full-time. Are you full-time manager?
No.
So let's ask that question. 1 second. How many full-time managers in the room? Okay, so again, we whittled down the amount as well, just by a couple of people. Just 1 second, Eric, just go on in, quick.
What is your criteria for kids to be your artists? I think, they need to know.
Okay, I started Riot 6 years ago with Great Spy Experiment, and only this year have I signed on 2 other artists. One is Inch Chua, and the other one is Charlie Lim. And the reason why I've not signed on any artists for the past 5 to 6 years, well, primarily because I'm still trying to figure out the business. But along the way, there has been a lot of artists that came to me, and I realized, back to my point again, I'm going to sound like a broken record, a lot of them do not have the right attitude. I think attitude to me is the one thing I look out for in artists. I've judged and mentored bands in the last 2 Bay Beats, if you guys are familiar with the Bay Beats Festival. And what I've always realized, what makes a band and a musician stand out is not just the music alone, but the attitude towards it. So that to me is very key, attitude in terms of the kind of hard work, but what their perception of a musician and a career in music is as well. Because if they think it's going to be all rock and roll, backstage, drugs, sex, then it's not going to happen, all right? Because it is a proper career, it requires that kind of hard work. It's quite funny, right? So when I'm not a fan of Justin Bieber, right? But then when I saw his DVD, it was on TV, I didn't buy the DVD. What was that show? Justin Bieber documentary, anyway.
Oh, right, yeah.
Fuck, I have a lot of respect for that guy now. Like that. There's so much work that he put in the background to that work. Despite the fact, yeah, right, great, he's mainstream, he's got weird hair, I don't like him. But respect. And that's what I look for in a musician. That sort of right attitude towards the business, if that makes sense.
Next time we'll have a swear tin, okay? It's all right, it's part of the business as well. So we're going to, sorry, just 1 second. I did promise to come to you, mate, sorry. Belinda, just...
Yeah, I just like to add on to what Ryan said. I think that musicians have the responsibility to let your managers know what do you want to get out of your career. I mean, if you just love music, you can sing in the shower. And if you like music with a live audience, go sing in a pub. Why do you need to be making music commercially or wanting your music to sell? So the role of the artist manager is really to realize the dreams and visions of the musicians. So if you do not know where you want to get to in the end, what is your end destination, there's no way the artist manager can do anything for you. Yeah.
Eric, next. But before that.
Oh, hi. Yep, my name's Adrian. I am a film composer. Previously. Now I'm actually a person who sets up music rooms for hi-fi people and musicians. And I got musicians coming to me and asking advice on how they're gonna set up home studios and everything. But the thing is, they don't have money. So I'm asking this question: where's the funding for home studios? Because how are we gonna create repertoire if most musicians cannot afford to go to commercial studios all the time, and when they can afford to go there, then it's good. But as a start, we need funding for home studios, and home studios don't have to be bad quality. You don't have to sing in the toilet or things like that. So I would like to see more funding, whoever is in charge of funding here. And I think a lot of musicians think it's very hard to record. I teach actually electronic music class in US to young people, and I teach them how to start writing music. And I see a lot of potential in the young people writing music, and it's not really hard at all in the modern day and age to write music electronically, and you don't need $8,000 to produce your electronic press kit. You may need $2,000 to buy equipment to produce your EP at home. Then after that, you spend $6,000 on everything else. You don't have to go to a professional studio as a start. It's a good thing, but it's not always essential. So I would really like to see more funding, more attention given to helping a musician set up so that he's independent first, and when he's really out there, he's really ready, then he can go professionally.
Yeah, good point. Spending $8,000 on an internal studio. Keith, 1 second, because I did promise Eric, and he's been giving me daggers in the eyes, saying, "Look, what about me?" Well, mate.
Actually, the very funny thing here.
Funny, yeah?
The funny thing here is this is a Singapore Music Society, right? But we are talking, but it's like the Singapore Money Society. It's like the Singapore Grant Society, like the Singapore Beggar Society, like that. It's not supposed to be like that, what? I'm sitting there, I'm like, huh? Why this guy asking for money? Why the guy think he's not good enough? Blah, 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 blah. I think, right, okay, actually there are a few of us here who I can say who are very lucky and are making a very comfortable living out of music. And that includes me. I mean, my money, as in my music got me my house. I bought my car doing music. But then the thing is that it's not just about money. I mean, okay, for me, I did this and I actually calculated that I want to make a living out of music. But I don't think this Singapore Music Society should be about just, oh, I want to make money out of music. Okay? But if it is about making money out of music, right, I think the thing that is most sensibly said by anybody so far, right, are the people who are non-musicians, like Erica, like Belinda, like Mike. I mean, the thing is that if you really want to make music out, I mean money out of your music, right, then you got to really do what people want you to do. Then if you don't want, right, then never mind lor. Don't forget about the grant, forget about this, forget about that. Because in the first place, when I started, I didn't get shit grant from anybody. Like, I don't think Terry got grant. I don't think anybody here who are actually doing it for real got grant. But instead, we did, okay, we are not mainstream. Then how? Be more mainstream lor. But if I don't be mainstream, then don't expect the money. Then because, okay, like for Mike, he has artists who are passionate and they might not be making a very comfortable music living compared to me, but they are happy. And I'm also happy. We all can be happy if we know what we want to do. The worst, the most jialat thing okay, is for artists who insist they want to do their commercials, do their niche stuff, but yet expect the grants, expect the benefits of doing something that is mainstream. So you just got to decide what you want now. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just going to do the unpopular answer. I think there are a few issues here with management, label signing, and everything, and money, right? So I think Eric addressed that. If you want to be like, an arty little guy and really hip and cool, then you can't live like Britney Spears, right? So it's correlation that way. For management, I think the thing that, for me, and I think a few of us here would agree, is that it's not about wanting a manager, and it's not about hiring. I mean, you can hire one, pay the guy, and he'll do everything for you. But if you want, a manager is a business partner. So you want someone that believes in you as much as you believe in him, right? And I mean, I work with artists from the US and stuff like that. There are so many cases of bad management where it's just they got into an agreement because it was for the money, and 3 years later, they're no longer working together, and the artist is back down where he is. So, and also for people recording albums and stuff like that. I mean, you don't write 20 songs, or you don't write 10 songs and put all 10 out there on your album and think it's the best. A band I worked with recently called Boys Like Girls, they wrote 200 songs before they realized that they had something to put out. Basically, they went into the studio, recorded 12 songs, realized that it was all shit, threw it out, took a break for 2 years, wrote 200 songs, picked 10 from there. So I don't know any artist over here that's doing that yet. We are probably writing 20 and picking 12, or probably writing 15 and picking 12. So there's a certain QC that's not there, right? I mean, the more you do it, the better you get. So I think rather than, and for grants and stuff like that, it's not, I think MDA and NAC is not here to kind of like be your financier. They're not your money tree that you go through. It's called assistance. So basically, it's to assist you and not to like fund you all the way. And buying equipment and stuff like that. I translate everything. Artists tend to always think that they need assistance to do their jobs. But I think like for people that are lawyers and everything, they go to school, they pay for their own education, then they go be lawyers and earn the money back. So why are we asking for money so that we can do what we want to do to make money? So we should be financing ourselves, investing in ourselves, right? If you don't invest in yourself, who's going to invest in you? So I think that's the key thing here. I mean, it's not about waiting for a handout. invest in yourself. If you think you're the best, invest in yourself, because then you're the best person to believe in yourself. And then at some point, get that investment to pay off. Because I mean, basically, if you think music is what you want to do every day, you live and breathe and sleep it, you wake up, that's all you think about, then that's what you should be doing. It's just how you're going to get there. And is doing music all you want to do, then do music, then what has it got to do with money? But if you want to be popular, then then find a way to be popular. It doesn't have to be music. You could juggle fire and stuff like that, So basically, I think that those were the things that were going in circles, and I thought I'll just jump on it.
Thanks, Keith. And is anyone putting their hand up? Otherwise, oh, sorry. Oh, all right, Danny.
Sure.
As it's you.
Well, I just want to be short here because the heat is coming up with this hall. Aircon can't cope. But basically, I think we forgot one thing. We forgot about the quality of live performance. We're talking about grants, we're talking about home studios, money here, money there. But we forgot about the live performance. Even if you do a really good recording in the studio, you need to perform live. So I think from a timber perspective, I guess just speaking on that, I mean, I think we have featured quite a lot of our original artists. I mean, Natalie was there, Mike was there. I think that one of the things that you guys have to, we have to collectively encourage is the quality of the live performance. If you go to LA or New York or Tokyo, and I was in Tokyo a few years ago on a street performance, these guys were just playing on the streets like buskers, but the performance quality was amazing. And not only that, the support was there. So as I was talking about support just now, I think the musicians also have to realize it's not about staying in your bedroom and recording. You can do the good recording, but when you go on stage, you're a bit different. Why? So I think that's one thing that I think we need to focus on. Educating, encouraging, and providing opportunities for the members to perform.
We haven't talked about education. We do have probably another 15, 20 minutes. Unless there's another subject you want to talk about, or you just want to grab your free bottle of drink and go. Any other points? Oh, you've got something to say now?
So I come from the point of view that I echo a lot of thoughts that Mike and Keith had said already. For me personally, I take it as a job, I'm in this, I need to make a living, so I look at it from a very, very different point of view. I said it at one of Willie's workshops. There's the Shok Sendiri musicians. Do whatever you want, really. No one's going to stop you. Create what you need to create, right? And then there's ones who want to take it much, much further. So all this talk about the funding and thing, again, Keith has covered it. We don't have to repeat what he said. But I think what we need to, tying in with what Keith, Mike, Danny, and everybody else has said here, is what we need to kind of do is, as a unit now, figure out how do we actually, if money is the issue, make money from what we do, right? It is not about finding some other person to pick up the bulk of the cost of creating. How do we, create the advocacy that creates an audience that would be willing enough to part away with $1, 50 cents, $15, $100, or whatever it is? I think that would be a better objective towards working, you know what I mean? And that needs to happen not just individually. So whatever that Ben is doing, right, needs to be plugged into what Matthew is doing, what Shimona is doing. And we need to plug all and connect all these dots so that creates a market. Because once we have a market, then we can make some money out of it, and then we won't have these complaints. We don't have to rely on anybody else, right? But that doesn't stop at one point in helping. We want to still see a lot of this creative works coming out, but it's same and different. We can always create. If there's absolutely no money, you want to create, you can create. No one's going to stop you, right? But if you want to take it further, share it, you can share. Again, YouTube, free, right? Put it up, no problems, no one's going to stop you. But if you want an audience, you want money, you want to make it sustainable, then you have to approach it from a sustainable way. So the problem now is that we don't have a sustainable industry here, right? And overseas is just as bad. I think what we need to work towards is how do we figure out how to make it sustainable for all ourselves. Not everybody will make it, some of us will fall out, but I think that should be the common goal.
I mean, that's been my goal in working with as many people as I can to kind of achieve this. So if anybody wants to subscribe to that, I think that should be, a clear path forward so that we can figure out how to leverage off each other and how to work, whatever resources that we have. Right? Thank you.
Thanks, Shade. On that point, then I'll come back. On that point, I'm just going to... I'm going to leave that up as well, so that if you do want to be reminded on how to contact Shahid, he's there.
Well, since we have gone into the money topic, I just want to share with you something that I did with some of my friends recently as a test, as a proof of concept. We did a school gig, okay, with Jessica Irawan, sometime in July in Bendigo Secondary School. Okay, that was part of my course. I was training the students there on entrepreneurship, and this is true. We did a 20-minute gig in the canteen during recess time. Okay, Jessica was performing her songs. We sold prepaid cards like this, and to promote her songs, in the 20 minutes, we sold 26 prepaid cards at $8 each. So there is money to be made if you work hard enough as a team, right? So don't think that just because they're school kids, they are just the audience for now. In 10 years' time, when they earn money, they can have to pay and buy your songs online. No, it starts today. If you want to have a system, you need to have a system for you to be commercially successful as well as artistically successful. Okay, so let's just work together offline. I think I can talk to anybody, one of us later on, to know how our system can work to help you, either as an independent artist or as a label, to bring money into for your music. Now, I spoke to some music labels when I was doing this, and sad to say, most of the time I moved up to Malaysia because it's cheaper. Honestly, So just be.
Thanks, Ben. Any other comments, quick? Because it looks like everyone's wanting to get off. As again, like I said right at the beginning, please, it's not trying to tell you what to do, it's trying to get your inputs to help us, to help you what you want to do. So we'd be very grateful to get any feedback from you, positive, negative, critical, whatever you've got to say. It'd be very important to get feedback from you as we move forward and try and help grow the local scene. Can I ask you all to give yourself a big round of applause for being here as well? Thank you ever so much. Thanks for Erica as well from YouTube. Thanks for Charlie. Let's hear it for Charlie. Because it's all about the artists, isn't it? So again, thank you very much. We will be staying in contact with you. Please do hang around and chit-chat and network with all the people around. So it's good to see you all. Hope to see you again soon. Thank you.